It's live. All right. Hello, world. We are here to cast Operation Indecision versus Team Socialized Healthcare. Some very good names here. This is week 3 of CPL 5. We've got a good amount of co-casters with me. I'm very excited. We're all very excited. Are you guys excited for this?
So this is the CPL Online Championship qualifier, right?
Online championship.
Yeah.
This is not a qualifier. This is a league, like a team league.
Right.
Jackson, could you explain what the tiers mean? So this is tier 2.
So tier 2, players are separated by tiers based on their skill level, in order to create more balanced matchups. Tier 2 is the second tier, and there's a tier 0 as well, which is for like coaches. Tier 2 is the second tier in the list.
I always get confused when it comes to tiers. Is 0 the best tier, and then it's weaker and weaker as the numbers get higher?
Lower numbers are stronger.
Okay, got it. So this is the third strongest tier?
Yes.
Ooh, these games are going to be pretty good then.
I mean, there are only 4. This is the third out of 4.
Should we do a quick straw poll among us? What the teams are: Team Indecision and Team Socialized Healthcare?
Alright, so I'm pretty sure Socialized Healthcare is a European team.
Okay.
That's why they're named that. Or Canadian or something.
What is the password?
What's the password?
You can just
click on the friends list.
Sorry guys, AJ here.
Battlenet 2.0
bugs. Hasn't played this game in years.
It's Battlenet 2.0.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, we're gonna start this off with Gorgonoth and Worst, two pretty well-known players. I would say they're both Protoss, I believe. Is that right, Tempest?
I'm not sure.
All right, well,
we're just got to go, bro.
We're just gonna
we've done our research for this.
We're just gonna dive right in here.
I did all my preparation.
Here we
I
go.
got the Team Indecision at 2.5 to 1 odds to win this match overall.
You prefer the American teams?
I think it's controversial whether socialized medicine is necessarily an un-American thing.
Well, Bart's left the game. Okay, we're just gonna move on, and we will get you in.
Are we gonna have enough co-casters without it?
I think we'll be all right. So it is a PvP. We have Gorgo, aka Gorgonoth, in the bottom left, the green Protoss, and we have Worst, aka BSL9 Worst, the red Protoss, in the top right. So PvP on match point. This is a 2-player map. I think we're all pretty familiar with this map.
Are all the viewers at home familiar? What are some of the key intricacies about this map that people should be looking out for, especially in Protoss versus Protoss?
Yeah, so I'll actually display the map. How do you do that? Anybody know how to display the map?
I don't think you can in StarCraft Remastered.
Right. Well, anyway, it's a 2-player map, like I said.
Oh, toggle display of the... Oh, no, that just gets rid of the minimap. Wow. Blizzard had this shit on lockdown.
They actually took it away. Okay, well, it's a...
Look at all the content they added.
It's a 2-player map. Your third is a mineral only. Uh-oh, I'm dropping frames. That's not good. Yeah, your third's a mineral only. Your fourth is in the corner, so it's a little harder to take. Generally, mineral only thirds produce more Zealot Dragoon heavy compositions when it comes to PvP. Sonic's a pretty good PvP player, so if you have anything you want to say, just feel free to step in.
Well, it's going to really depend on what their build order is, right? And what they're planning on going. On this map, 1-gate Goon into a quick Robo for Vision is probably going to be crucial, just because there's so many ways that Protoss could actually drop Reavers or go Dark Templars. It doesn't seem like a map that would really benefit going heavy Zealots early, so
yeah, and I just want to point out how narrow these choke points are at the natural. You see the minerals there? That's a pretty narrow choke. So Reavers are really good for holding that down.
So I have a question. As a Zerg player who occasionally off-races to Protoss, I never really know, but I see Gorgo in the bottom left. He builds his first pylon right next to the Nexus, and then his gateways are, a couple spaces away. Worst in the upper right, on the other hand, he builds his first pylon about a screen length away from the Nexus, and then puts his first 2 gateways down there. How much does it matter where you put your first pylon?
I think it's pretty important in the sense that you want to maximize your efficiency with your pathing for your units, right? The reason why players like to put their pylon in facing the way of their choke is so that they could actually defend properly, as well as if they're going to be taking their expansion or they're going to be moving out, it's just a little more efficient than having your gateways out of the way. It is not going to be a game winner or a loss, but it is still a little more efficient in pathing.
He's also gonna have less pylon coverage compared to Worst, because his pylons are more tightly packed, and they're not gonna spread in power as much area as Worst.
Yeah, Jackson makes a good point. Having vision of your central base is extremely important in PvP, just because there are multiple instances where Protoss could actually be going Reaver, and you want to actually have vision of shuttles around your map, or a DT drop potentially.
So I think I think we have the first. I want to steer it back to this match in particular, real quickly, because I see Worst has not taken a gas yet.
Yeah, we have
We've got
diverging
2 gates.
builds.
Yeah, and so now he's taking his natural, whereas Gorgo took gas. He's got a cybernetics core. He's building dragoons. What's the timing here?
It's interesting. Yeah, these are 2 completely different ways to play it. Worst is going to have to get his forge up. I'm pretty sure he's about to build that with his probe on the left of his base. Yep. Oh, that's a core. He's definitely going to have to get cannons up. One thing that you guys missed is Gorgo actually killed Worst's scouting probe like immediately, and that was a really good pickoff because it allowed him to get that gas without Worst knowing what was going to happen in his base.
So if you lose your scouting probe like this, especially in a mirror matchup, how important is it? Do you usually send another scouting probe right away so you know what's coming?
If you
So that is one option you have at your disposal. The other option is to try to prioritize a robotics facility earlier, so you can pump out an observer early, because you always need to respect Dark Templars, right? If someone is going a higher tech than you, then that is one strat that could happen. But it looks like
Gorgo is actually going for Templar tech, it looks like.
I think
is
he's
heading
actually going
towards
speed
Templar
lot.
tech.
You can see he's pulled probes off gas. He just put them back on to get that leg speed. He's getting 4 gateways. He's going to go a big speed lot attack at the natural.
Yeah, 2 more gateways. This is all in, right? 4 gate, 1 base, not building an expansion. That's pretty much all in, right?
Absolutely.
So if
It's going to
Gorgo
be
doesn't
tough.
crack him in the next probably 3-4 minutes, then Worst is going to have the overwhelming economic advantage. I think so. I feel like it's going to work, right? I mean, Worst still doesn't have okay, his forge is finishing now, but he doesn't even have a pylon at his choke to start building cannons in the the prime defensive spot, and he hasn't sent another probe, so he has no idea this is coming.
Yeah, he's never going to be able to
sending
scout
out
it.
a probe.
It's going to get killed by goons, but he will see the lack of an expansion, and that's good for him. But you know what's interesting here is that having his own zealots, he has 6 of them, that's really good, because speed versus non-speed isn't going to matter a whole lot at his choke point. It's just going to make it better for Gorgo to reinforce.
Sure.
And he has 3 gateways of his own.
It's
Wouldn't
going
it
to
be
be.
better?
It's going to be.
Sorry, wouldn't you be able to pull back your interest a lot faster if you have speed?
Yeah, but it's in this context, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Speed lots matter more when there's fights in the open areas or when you're reinforcing. But in this context, it's not going to matter a whole lot.
So Gorgo needs to really get the ball rolling with this attack as soon as the speed is done, because the economic advantage of having 2 bases is going to be overwhelming. And
well, shouldn't he have his units on the way to the natural right now, so that when speed finishes at the Citadel, then he's like at the guy's front door with the attack? Because I feel like this is coming way too slow now. There's already there's a cannon up at worst natural, and I mean 1 cannon isn't going to stop the attack cold, but
yeah, absolutely. And Worst has a lot of options, right? If he notices that Gorgo actually has a sizable army, he can try to block off his choke, but Gorgo is pushing out now, and he's going
the
from the
more
southern side.
The more units, the bigger the army fights are, the less effective that zealots are, right? Because melee units generally perform worse with bigger surface area to cover. These armies are getting big, so these chokes are gonna be really advantageous for the range unit.
Well, right now he's positioning his army in front of the choke, rendering it kind of useless. I think if Gorgo gets a good zealots around here, he might break through.
Here we go, Gorgo's moving in. The zealots are on top of the goons, and it's lagging.
And we're dropping frames.
Zealots get on top of the goons. That's huge. He's moving back into
Worst
the choke
has
point.
to pull probes.
I think this is gonna work.
The probes need to be probed. The zealots are on top of the goons. They're tearing away. There's only one cannon firing back.
An absolutely great surround by Gorgo. The zealots are just shredding Worst currently.
Pulls his probes too late.
Yep, more zealots
are
streaming in. This is big. Probes are getting shredded. This game's over. Gorgo, with the perfect timing, just eradicates that natural of Worst.
So how much of this came down to Worst having his army outside of the choke instead of back in the choke?
Not necessarily. That the biggest starting point was that Worst did not have vision, right, of Gorgo. So if he had noticed Gorgo pushing out from his
G! He ends the game with a single G! Wow.
It's a game.
I think it mattered. I mean,
do we think that's a typo, or was that a little bad manner?
I don't know if I'd call it bad manner. Probably just a typo. When I lose games like that, I'm always in a hurry to get out. So I might try to type GG and I'll just fail to.
Yeah, but the biggest takeaway from that point from Worst is viewpoint is that he didn't have vision, right? There was a lack of vision and understanding Gorgo's timing attack and when Gorgo was actually going to push out. If he noticed Gorgo pushing out with a probe potentially just being at his choke point, then Worst could have actually positioned his army properly behind the choke point and even potentially added on additional cannons, pylons, something to create like a blocking point within his choke to stop the surround.
Well, because my understanding has always been, so Worst had a lot of dragoons and Gorgo had a lot of zealots, right? So if you have your dragoons spread out in a line so that the zealots are going to have to sort of file in single file, kind of making a T, if you can imagine in your mind, a string of dragoons on top horizontally and then a vertical line of zealots approaching, then the zealots get shredded on their way in. And then even if you have lower numbers, you can usually manage to hold. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason you have a choke point and you try to fight around these choke points, right? But instead he had his entire army in a circle sitting outside of the natural, and Gorgo just walks up and surrounds it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think it all came down to just kind of a lack of information. He didn't know what was coming. If he had scouted that, he would have been able to put pylons at the natural, like Sonic said, and he would have been able to reduce the surface area, and that would have been probably game-winning for him.
I was just gonna point out that, so does he never notice that Gorgo just never expanded?
He was never able to scout it.
Probe died. After his second probe died, he did not bother to check again to see if his opponent expanded.
Oh, he tried, but it got shut down by dragoons. That's kind of why scouting probes are so important in PvP, especially in 2-gate versus 2-gate matchups. You have to keep that probe alive until the core is done, because otherwise you lose out on so much information.
Yeah, and Worst really got in the rhythm of having two bases, so he wanted to maximize macroing off those two bases to try to hit like a 150 supply count before he pushes out to acquire a third and to try to put pressure. So he really got in that rhythm, but he forgot really that there's additional information he could have gleaned from scouting that out.
I can't wait to see what happens in game 2. Let's go.
Yeah, we could use a little more excitement during that game-winning fight, guys. We can do better than that. This is a PvP on Tau Cross. Gorgo is up 1-0.
I'm here now. It's going to be really exciting.
That's true. We have another caster joining us. All right, I'm going to start this off. We have
turned off the power bots again, so
that probably fixes it. We have Worst, the orange Protoss in the top right, who's down 0-1. And in the bottom right, I would say about 5 o'clock, we have Gorgo, the red Protoss. What color do you guys think is better for Protoss in this map, red or orange?
I definitely prefer red.
I always
don't
thought
think it matters either way.
the winter maps look cool. Like I always like this map and like Hitchhiker. I don't know. I just think Protoss looks really cool in these maps.
Arctic Hunters.
Yeah.
Blend in better if you use lighter colors, like the light blue ones or the black one.
Ooh, here's an interesting maneuver. Worst just sent one of his probes that was mining minerals in the 3rd from the top patch. He manually sent it to the 2nd from the bottom patch.
That's good. It's important
Very
to be as
efficient
efficient as
pathing.
possible. Yeah.
Especially in mirror matchups, the little advantages like that is going to add up.
I don't know if this applies to Protoss, but there's a trick. If you normally people actually send it one of the first probe to the top patch these days because on the right side you can mineral boost them, and the way to do it is that if you hit return cargo right when they return the first time around, they would do the little, you know how they do the little stop after returning mineral. If you do their boost mineral trick, they will just do like a U-turn right before they even return the minerals. So people
So
do,
Okay. I want to step in and say something. I don't mean to interrupt, but Peter Locke brought up the pylon placement at the start of last game. I am not a fan of Gorgo's pylon placement here because the only place he can put
So-
gateways is to the left. If he puts another one there, it's going to get stuck there. Like all units are going to come out the right and be stuck. He can't really just build much around it. I do like worse pylon positioning because he can, he's not necessarily trapped anywhere. He can add on buildings wherever.
Right, and especially on Tau Cross, right? Like, you want to maximize your pylon placement. Like, you can actually get 5 gateways easily placed around a single pylon because you want to have your pylon spread around your base, right? To maximize vision of your central starting point. Just because this map heavily favors a Reaver-esque build type strategy, and so you want to have vision of that. And
So when you say this map heavily favors a Reaver-esque strategy, what attributes or what features of the map makes it so good for Reavers?
it's mainly because there's a choke point, and the actual point from the expansion all the way back to the main base takes such a long time for that turnaround time, the travel distance that armies have to actually navigate through. And so the reason why a lot of Protoss you'll see go Reavers is because of that, where armies would have to navigate all the way back to their main base to defend, and then they have such a disparity between the distances from their main to their natural to their second natural.
Worse is making a good play here. So he opened 2 gate while Gorgo opened 10 gate, 14 core, 14 zealot. Worse is denying scouting, and he's also hiding his 3rd zealot. So Gorgo will see 2 zealots, but won't know it's necessarily a 2 gate. Oh, I take it all back. He just saw the 4 zealots. So now he knows.
I was actually going to ask that. So he had a probe-proof wall. He had a zealot and a probe in hold position. And then he replaced the probe with a zealot, showing that he had 2 zealots, which is pretty normal, right? But couldn't he have just left it with the 1 zealot and probe?
Yeah, he could.
Like, what's the difference?
I guess just to get that extra mining, basically. 2 zealots nowadays is actually a little bit normal. Most people want to get that core right away, so they'll only get 1 zealot at most. So nowadays it is kind of abnormal, I would say. But if I saw it, especially on an older map like Tau Cross, I wouldn't, be too surprised. And we do see Worst again going for that fast nexus, while Gorgo's going to go 1 gate robo into another gateway. But again, like I said, these goons are going to pop out in a pretty rough position, and I wouldn't be surprised if that hurts them down the road.
I feel like Worst is a type of player that really prioritizes like macroing. He's basically done the same build twice, a fast expansion, whereas Gorgo is more comfortable quick teching with like lots of units early game.
Yeah, and you could see where the pathing with the gateway placements on Gorgo is really affecting it, right? So goons cannot actually go through the bottom side. They will have to go through the gas mineral line, which sometimes will get clunked up and just congested there. So it makes it a little less efficient to get armies out.
So sometimes, though, like I definitely see what you guys are saying. Sometimes, though, you actually purposefully construct your buildings in such a way that it will obstruct enemy units from getting in. I think maybe the prime example is like you'll block the area behind your minerals with pylons to prevent vultures from running through. in PvT. Is there any merit to constructing your gateways like this to,
No.
obstruct the pathing of your opponent?
In this situation, it's just a mistake. But
Yeah,
he could
and-
actually salvage it by putting pylons to the right of the gateways, but that's about it. And we do see Worst is moving across the map with six zealots and a goon. Gorgo does have
This
goon
is
range
a really
already.
interesting fight. Look at this.
Yeah, it's
Gorgo
gonna come out of
loses the
micro.
scouting probe again. That's the second or third scouting probe he's lost. He hasn't even reacted when it starts getting attacked. And now
Depending
a pylon
on-
for defense.
Depending
do
on
like that
Gorgo's
pylon
micro
first.
here,
Sort of split things up.
And it throws away a dragoon.
Yeah, that's
Worst
big.
wasn't looking.
Worst
He has
wasn't
one
looking,
dragoon in his army.
and he has no ways to engage this. He also has not scouted Gorgo, so he doesn't really know what he has.
Again, he doesn't know if his opponent's actually expanded, but he
And
does
he
see
just
a
has
lot
to
of.
back off. Look at this.
Yeah, good defense by Gorgo there. I will
Okay,
say,
but
A Reaver coming out. This will be great.
However, I feel like you gotta, as Worst, I feel like the attack makes sense because it kind of puts pressure on Gorgo, right? It's like Gorgo has to think about defending. It puts him on the back foot, even if the attack isn't like, oh, I'm actually going to win the game here or I'm going to lose the game.
Well,
It's
I
still
think he
something
also
that's putting the
needs
ball.
information.
Yeah.
He also
Well,
needs
that's-
information.
well, that's
Second
the
wave's
important
coming
thing.
right
what-
now.
That's the important thing. What Worst did, right? Like Gorgo had to stop his expansion because he needed to pump out 2 more dragoons, so that actually, delayed his expansion.
yep, second wave's coming. The Reaver is almost done, and the shuttle's ready. So the shuttle's ready to pick it up and go. This is looking very good for
Can
Gorgo.
Worst tell, based on the number of dragoons at Gorgo's natural, is Worst going to be able to see that and think, oh man, he's got only 6 or 7 dragoons. I probably got a Reaver coming soon.
An experienced player would know
That
that
is a
he's
little
not.
difficult.
He would know he's not on like a 3-gate build.
Okay.
But he wouldn't necessarily know if there's a Reaver or if there's a Nexus behind that. He's playing with a lack of information for sure.
Or a Dark Templar, maybe, right?
It's a little late for DTs.
That's when you're
Depending
least
on-
expected.
That's true.
Depending on Gorgo's usage of this Reaver, it could actually determine a win or loss. But it seems like Gorgo wants to go all the way
He's-
around so that he can go and attack the main rather than push out.
Yeah, he's going all the way
This is a
around.
real
Worst
gamble.
is-
This is interesting.
This
Rallying
is
his
big.
units to
And
go
he-
for contain. He's not defending his base. This could be huge.
He does not have shuttle speed though, so he needs to do damage with his Reaver. My feeling is Worst could just all in him with this army. He would win this straight
Well,
up.
but he does have a second Reaver out.
That's true. It's got a long walk to the natural, but it's gonna make that trek.
Would you call that walking?
A long crawl to
So-
the natural.
I don't know what you would
Slugging
call it.
along.
Yeah.
So the shuttle is actually going to go if Worst will actually spot it with the Robo and Cyber, so he can probably minimize this damage, but he has not a single Dragoon out.
He's rallying every
to
unit
defend
into the
against
front of his enemy.
Oh, the
base.
observer sees it. That's huge.
And that's unfortunate
needs
that
to
he
move
had
his units.
3
good
Zealots.
He's
reaction
pulling the
time.
probes. We'll see how
He's
this
pulling
goes.
probes. Gets two
Two.
probes with that first Reaver, or with that first Scarab. He's gonna all in on the other side. So the Zealots and Dragoons are going in. The Reaver is out, and it made it. It made it to the natural.
Oh, the
So
goons
he's
are
gonna be
being
able to
pulled
hold.
back. Very nice.
Gorgo's not microing his Reaver on the offense right now. It's fired 1 Scarab, killed 2 probes.
It's about to get quite a bit
Oh,
right here.
this could be
Oh,
big.
Look at this. Look at this. This would be great.
Oh, what a shot!
Oh, but
And
he's not
another
moving
one.
The shuttle.
Oh my god.
It's
Alright,
already
shuttle
paid.
set.
It's already paid for itself. It's gonna get
Yeah, it's
more
paid-
probes. Oh man.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah,
how
we
many?
need to see this.
18 kills. 18 kills. 20 kills on that Reaver.
Oh my god.
But okay, and clearly that's a huge impact. But don't you still feel like you lost a little bit of opportunity there? Because if Gorgo is microing the shuttle, if he's flying it around, picking up the Reaver, flying it farther up, he can do actually a lot more damage than that.
You could always do more damage. I would consider that a very good investment by Gorgo.
So don't forget that Worst actually expanded first and had like a huge probe advantage. He had the worker count was like 40 to 29 or something like that. Now the balance is swung the other way. Worst has 24 and Gorgo has 32. This is a complete reversal.
Yeah, so the best time for Worst to win is right now. He has an army advantage, kind of, if he gets a good surround with those Zealots. Reavers tear up speed lots, but if you get good position, you can actually still overcome it.
I think we're going to have a battle on the big bridge right here.
This favors the Protoss with the Reaver as well, so... But Worst does have a handful of zealots with speed. However, the Reavers will shred that apart. So depending on Gorgo's usage of them, he's in favor over here.
I will note he doesn't have a shuttle yet. He's building one right now. So if Worst were to attack, which he doesn't have that information. Actually, one thing I think Worst could definitely improve on is observer scouting. He hasn't really ever had too much knowledge of Gorgo's army positioning or what's going on in his main.
He had one observer over the bridge, but it got killed a little bit.
Yeah.
Over the bridge.
Gorgo is getting shuttle speed now, which will help him navigate with his army and be able to micro his Reavers a little more effectively, which is important on Tau Cross because Reavers and shuttles can get picked off so easily within a skirmish.
So we see Worst parking 2 probes outside of his base, one in the center of the map on a bridge. It's chilling. Oh, sorry. Actually, that's a pylon at the top. So he puts a pylon up there, what, for like advanced vision of future Reaver drops, right?
Yeah, 'cause
Exactly.
Now he's seen that there's that Reaver that's come in. I think this is a smart play.
Yeah,
You get
that's
a
Yeah.
little bit, because the thing
There
is you have to
are-
react to a Reaver, right? And the
Absolutely.
more time you have to react, the better you're off you're going to be.
And there are instances where you would even put a pylon at like the 12 o'clock expansion, right? Like just a random pylon there for extra vision. This has happened on like other maps as well, like Fighting Spirits one, where you want to get advanced vision from Reaver drops to defend against it,
Ooh.
especially on this map.
Gorgo's observer going one-on-one with the photon cannon comes up short.
So,
I want
Gorgos has the dirt base. He has a huge economic advantage, but his building placement makes it so he can't even fit 5 gateways on one screen.
I disagree, actually. He doesn't have an economic advantage because that third base isn't established yet, and he's actually behind in probes despite the fact that he was up by like 10 earlier after that Reaver drop.
In my opinion, Gorgo should not be trying to engage on this fight. He should let the third get established and build off of that. This
Here we
might
go.
be a little premature.
Gorgo's going to move right in. Good positioning here by Worst. His goons are all spread out. Needs to get those Reavers out of the
line.
shuttle. Yeah, in a
T-shape.
line. Drops the Reavers a little bit in front of the army, but picks off both the Gorgo's Reavers. That is huge.
So Gorgo, again, drops his Reavers and then leaves them there. And he's going to pay the price. Worst is crushing him this fight. Worst's 2 Reavers completely unharassed.
Worst had a much more
Oh.
beautiful arc when he engaged on Gorgo, and his Reavers were just unhindered, doing as much damage as he could to Gorgo.
And I want to point something out. So Worst has 2-3 observers in the middle of the map now. Gorgo has none. Gorgo lost his only scouting observer earlier
We've
when
got
it
a
went
huge
one-on-one with the
Reaver
photon
drop
cannon.
in the main.
Which main?
There is a cannon at
Gorgo's
6
main.
o'clock, and it is taking on the cannon,
Ooh.
and now
Cannon's
some
dead.
probes.
Probes get
Oh,
away,
but
though.
Worst is just throwing away his
But
recruits.
Yeah, battle at the front. Worst loses it. He's going to have to retreat here.
it's doing considerable damage to Gorgo's pylons. One of them is burning blue flames of brilliance. And then he backs off. Do you agree with taking the Reavers back at this time? When
Yeah, you don't
no
want to
defense had
overstay.
been.
Because there's not much he can accomplish there. The probes are gone.
I like that he went in there when the fight was going on in the front, so he
So-
takes the opponent's attention away. So after the fight in the front, he pulled back as he should because now the opponent has free attention to pay to his main.
Well, so we have vision of everything, so that's, obviously he doesn't. But what I'm wondering is he just retreats with his Reavers rather than, for instance, flying over to the natural to see if you could get off a couple shots there. And then even if you can't, if you can fly past the natural, you could harass the third base at 7 o'clock.
The Dragoons were there. I think he made the right call.
Yeah, it's
Well,
better.
the Dragoons were occupied with the attack at the front of the base, right?
But you never know.
No,
You
they
don't
were
want to just.
already retreating.
You don't want to just fly over the main. You don't know when more goons are going to pop out. He's going to fill that shuttle in
He's got
again.
another drop right here.
Yep, another drop. The
Man.
cannon's there. Takes all the shields off the shuttle. But the Reavers kill it. Probes are just free for the taking. Oh, he's finding
gonna
his own
counter with a
shuttle.
shuttle of
Oh,
his own.
oh, look at
Nice
this.
pickup.
And the Reaver blocks the Scarab. That is a
Reaver
pro
versus
play.
Reaver.
Wow.
Worst is getting the advantage in supply count because his macro is slightly better than Gorgo at this point, but Gorgo has a huge advantage going High Templars, which Storm will absolutely shred. Actually, they both have High Templars now. So it's going to be a battle of whoever gets really good Storms off in this fight. But Gorgo does not want to engage within these bridges. It's going to be...
Looks like he does want to engage. Actually, that's just worse, throwing away some zealots.
I think it's a run
These
by.
High Templars.
I think he's
he
trying to
might
harass
be
the
running
third.
to harass, yes. Which is important. You want to harass the
He drop
main...
again now. He dropped with these Zealot pulling attention away.
Yeah, I think that is his intention. He wants to use the distraction on the third and harass, kind of like a Zerg-esque style, where you harass with Zerglings on one base, you drop the main, put a lot of pressure on the map.
A lot of probes dying here at the third, actually.
Gorgo having some hotkey issues, maybe? He's got a standing army at the front of his second base. He's got 3 Dragoons and about 8 Zealots that were just standing there that whole time.
That's his rally point. He hasn't rallied these. He hasn't.
We do see Gorgo Shuttle and Reaver just killed that scouting pylon that Worst had up. Worst sent his army up there to take that down, but Shuttle gets away pretty easily. One thing I really want to compliment Worst on here is his gateway positioning. Look how... Oh, never mind, there's a fight in the middle of the map. Big fight right over the bridge. Worst definitely has the better positioning here.
We're gonna see
Where's
some
this-
storms. I think we might see some storms here.
We should.
Worst is taking advantage of Gorgo's lack of observers with that one Dark Templar. It's going to do a lot of work.
Gorgo's just
Fourth
trying to
base
find...
being taken. That's an interesting place for a fourth base.
Well, it lets him get that fourth gas, so that'd be really
like
nice to
observer
secure
here.
that.
So he
Well-
now he can like move around the bridges to like defend every attempt to move across the bridge with these observer placement. You can see in advance when the Red Army is gonna try to cross.
I mean,
Oh.
how much more gas does Gorgo need?
Great
He's sitting on
storm by
2,000.
Gorgo. Goons are just getting shredded. Look at that. Gets shields off a bunch, kills 4. But he should not be moving in here. This is not the place to attack. His army's
This
gonna
is a
get
difficult
storms.
Ooh, look at that storm on the bridge.
High tempura! And Reavers. So Worst has the superior position here because his army is established on the other side of the bridge, right? So all of Gorgo's units would have to funnel into this narrow area. They're going to get picked apart. So what does he have to do? He has to take the other bridge and go around if he wants to attack?
Gorgo needs to get observers of his own and clear some of these observers for Worst, so he can get some map
Well,
presence.
Where is Gorgo going to get the Vespine gas to build some observers? He's currently sitting on a mere 1,700.
He can make
some of
like
the
so many
strongest-
Archons.
Oh
Some
wait,
of
he's
the
lining that
strongest
fourth
second
gas up.
forge. I like that.
It's a drop
Yes.
coming at the top.
A strong
single
element
Reaver.
that Gorgo incorporated is
DT at the third.
pushing up on pushing
Which
in
third?
High Templars and Stormin on the bottom left at 7 o'clock.
Oh, it
Oh, I
hits
don't
the
think the right
cannon.
move.
He
Not the
gave
right
it
move.
away. Reaver in the main. There's nothing to kill in the main.
Oh, he didn't give it away.
I don't think Gorgo noticed. I don't think
5,
he noticed now.
6,
There's a Reaver drop in the natural.
7.
Oh, it dies the cannons.
8 kills.
Oh no, this is a disaster.
Gorgo just threw away a Reaver. He could have killed so many probes at Worst's natural, and he lost all of the probes at his third. He has that
meanwhile,
fourth.
Zeratul down there himself is taking out 8 probes.
Just chilling on hold position.
That's smart. He's gonna wonder where all of his probes went, and he's gonna send more, and then they're all gonna get picked off. I like that.
What I've seen is kind of the new fashion, the new meta in some of the top tier pro games is that they'll park Dark Templars in hold position in front of the enemy's minerals so that probes can't access them because they can't get through the Dark Templars, and you just keep them there and you don't attack. Completely prevent any mining, and the other person has no idea what's going on.
I'm gonna need a
I
source
mean,
for
that
this.
wouldn't work if they can walk through it.
Try the on GameNet Star League. Bisu, ever heard of him?
I've heard of him, never seen that happen.
All right, that DT's gonna get
Called
cleared
the
out.
Bisu build.
Oh wait, it's not gonna get cleared out. Okay, it is gonna get cleared out.
In huge armies like this, what's important is what Gorgo
Oh,
did
there's
earlier,
counterattack
where
already setting up on the bottom right.
you push in and you storm like the big armies because they're all going to be clumped up. But this fight's coming, and
Is he
Gorgo
gonna
is out
ferry
of
in?
position on the bridge. Yeah, he's going to ferry in with one shuttle. It's going to take a very long time.
It's gonna take him about 15 minutes, but it'll be worth it. He could, right?
Yes,
I mean,
this
if he had a
fight's
couple
gonna
more
be-
shuttles, why
no.
not?
Oh,
Gorgo's
killing that
out of
pylon's
position, he's
huge.
coming.
Killing that
He's out of
pylon's huge. That
position.
takes out 3 gateways. Oh, this is gonna be a big time fight. Storm all over the goons by Gorgo.
Red's coming in from 2 different angles.
Yep, nice little flank,
But
but
worse is up
Archons are
20
getting
supply.
destroyed by the
Ooh.
goons. Storm's all over
Storms,
Gorgo's
oh my
goons.
God.
The Reavers are shredding the
Worst has
goons.
like 80 storms.
He's
Yeah.
got those goons on hold position during the storms.
That was
Great
a very
fight by
difficult
Worst.
fight for Gorgo.
Great fight by Worst though, and he's
And
just gonna move
gonna
right
roll
in. Yep. There's still
Wait, do we have a Dark Archon? No, we don't.
there's like 8 storms on these Templar, but I don't know if he's gonna use them.
He tried attack moving with them instead. He thought they were
Alright.
Tassadar Templar.
And GG, well played from Gorgo. That
Well
puts us at 1-1 in this series. We're gonna go to a game 3.
Hype!
I don't.
That was a great game.
So what was important to take away in that fight is unit composition wins games, especially in mirror matchups. And you can see Worst with having about 9 to 10 High Templars really just shredded half of Gorgo's units coming in from the top bridge. So unit composition really won Worst that matchup right there.
And Gorgo had High Templars there. They were full energy. They had 200 energy, but they were sitting at his natural. They were too far back to be of any use during the fight.
He had the initial good storm with his with those rally point Templars. He just his trail only army on the other side did not get micro at all. I think he just kind of A moved them in. But I thought in the beginning he had the advantage in the fight. He just sort of turned his attention away.
Well, that fight where he engaged Worst, when Worst had a really good arc as well as his Reaver control, really set Gorgo back. When Gorgo had the advantage, he was going to get a third first, and he was going to get his ball rolling with 6-7 gateways at that point. But that fight really turned it around and allowed Worst to actually come back.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a deciding game 3 on Clayfields. I don't know about you guys, but I would not have it any other way. While we're in this little lobby, since we can't do it in the game, let's take a look at the map. I mean, we all know the map, but the viewers might not. So we can see here it's a 4-player map. Your third is like facing, you know, the opponent that's horizontal from you. It looks like a pretty standard map. It is a pretty standard map. It's a lot like Fighting Spirit.
Does anyone else see a face in the middle?
Yeah,
where
I
it's a
see
head,
on this map-
2 eyes.
I
On
see
this
one.
map, once you take 3 base, a very easy way to defend
Yeah.
the 3 base is to hold the choke in front of your natural and then hold the high ground in front of your third. That way, it's really hard for the opponent to actually move in and attack you.
All right. So that's the sound.
Do
I
we
think
have
that's
do we
the
have a
sound.
caster calling in?
That was I got it in. That was the bookie with the odds. Turns out Gorgo is the Nadal of the StarCraft scene. He never loses on clay. So he's
Oh,
currently sitting at a 2.5 to 1 favorite to clinch this game 3.
very
I'm
interesting.
gonna need a source on that too.
Get your bets in
You
now
just
at
made that up. All right.
Coming from the guy-
CPLBetOnline.com.
We have
Dark
Gorgo,
Templars.
bottom left, green Protoss. I don't know if they've intentionally gone for the Christmas colors every game. I don't know was it red green first game? I don't know. But anyway, Worst, the red Protoss in the bottom right of Clayfields.
So we know the ramps are going to be 12 o'clock north of their starting position. So let's see where their pylon actually gets placed. I feel like Gorgo is going to place his pylon to the
Is
right
this
of
cheese?
his next.
Oh no, okay, never mind. I saw
What are you
Worst sitting on
talking
80. I saw Worst sitting on 80 minerals, and I thought, is he gonna 6 pylon? But then he built the probe, which would be
Also,
game
cheese
3.
is always welcome, though.
Sorry, our cheese expert weighing in. What was that?
So the good cheese would always be welcome.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think maybe Gorgo started out playing as a Terran player. It looks like the way he plays his pylon is sort of how Terran wants to play like a supply depot. I see really no advantage to having a pylon hugging your resistance.
That's a pretty standard
Unless you want
pylon
cannons.
placement. I
Unless you
don't.
want cannons on your mineral line.
It's pretty standard. I mean, it boosts the amount of minerals you can mine. I'd say that's pretty common. That gateway placement is not, since his ramp, like Sonic, like Aerith said, is to the north of his base.
Well, plus, so now this always confused me. As a Zerg player, I just couldn't figure out the Protoss structures, but I always thought you needed to put a pylon next to your Nexus so that the Nexus would be powered. Just like any other building, a gateway can't function if it's not within the field of a pylon. So, is that...
What?
Am I crazy?
We should point that out to Blizzard and tell them it's an oversight.
StarCraft 3?
How did
Hey,
we get this cat?
there's-
How did we get this caster in the CPL link?
Hey, something big's happening here. Gorgo's gonna get the first scout. Worst is 2-gating. Or, I'm sorry. He's not 2-gating.
Ooh,
I'm so surprised
This
he's
is a
not
change of
2-gating.
pace.
Yeah, this is different. Both go 1-gate core. But having that
didn't
first
make a
scout
Zealot.
is great.
He didn't make a Zealot, but his core is still on 13.
Oh, big mistake in Gorgo's base. He's not mining gas with those 2 probes. It's just
Also-
one.
Would have preferred if
Oh,
Gorgo
no.
in his pylon underneath that assimilator, so that he can get actually 3 gates, actually 3 or 4 gates, powered by a single pylon. This pylon just makes it so that gateway is very inefficient with his armies coming out.
So I want to point something out, because this always bothers me, actually. The scouting probes. So Worst went to the upper right to start, and Gorgo went to the bottom right to start. Fine. As soon as Worst sees that he got scouted immediately, he should realize, oh, I got scouted at this time, so I should send my probe from the upper right to the bottom left, because he's got to be there, right?
That's not true
Or-
because he doesn't know if his opponent scouted after gateway or pylon. If he scouted after pylon, they could easily be cross map.
Yeah,
Oh, what
or-
did Worst scout after? Did he scout after
they both
pylon?
scouted after
They both
gateway.
do gateway scout. I think all 3 games they did.
Oh, so if he had scouted after pylon, then he could have been in the upper left still.
The timing
Yeah.
changes.
It's not.
Yeah, it would have been about the same, right? Because it would have, he would have scouted about 20, 30 seconds later, so he would have
Yeah.
had time to go to the bottom left and then the bottom right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they both have a very similar build. It's actually identical at this point. It's a matter of if they're both going to expand off this or they're going to throw down a robotics facility. It looks like Worst may expand off of this,
Where's my
just judging by his mineral count.
Where's my do like the PVT opening? Oh no, he's doing robotic robo.
He might be respecting Dark Templars. However, Green noticed that Worst has always expanded in the past 2 games, so he's going to actually go for the fairly early expansion off 1 gate, and he feels safe enough to do so.
The old switcheroo.
This is a build order win for Gorgo if Worst doesn't do some kind of like heavy Reaper
Ooh.
push.
What about that second gateway placement by Worst?
My OCD is picking up.
And also, he put his second and third pylons in the bottom right, tucked away, so they're safely stored at the back of the base.
Reavers to sit under later.
Right. It'll prevent those speedy reavers from getting around his
Well, I think
probe.
this highlights how difficult of a game this really is. Brood War is not an easy game. There's so many things you have to worry about at all time. And
Yeah, so
don't think it
Worst
matters
is
just
for,
one of a million things you have to be worrying about. at this point.
Worst is definitely respecting Dark Templars. He's going an early observatory, and he's going to be actually behind economically, because Gorgo is not is actually going away from his previous build.
Is it common? We've seen this in all 3 games. Is it common for both players to just be sitting with their army roughly outside of their natural, and then you don't really scout with it ever, or you don't really send probes to scout? I mean, I guess a probe isn't going to do any good at this point, right? It'll just get blown up by dragoons.
You still want to
Yes,
have a
but
probe
it's
out on the map.
important.
Mm-hmm.
It's also important to scout out the army counts, right? You want to notice and try to take the little nuances, like how many dragoons does he have right now? How many zealots does he have right now? Because those little bits of information can really add a lot to what's happening. If you see that there's like 6 dragoons randomly when you have 3, then you can ascertain a lot from that.
Yeah,
For
because
Worst, I think it makes sense for him to do it because he's going for observer anyway. for Gorgo, he needs to know whether or not DTs are coming. He needs to know whether or not his opponent expanded, right? Because if he didn't expand, this is a time where DT is about to hit, right? So you want to know right now whether or not you need to prepare for that.
And even if it's not DTs, either player could have left their base. You know, it could have been a 4-gate or a 5-gate all-in or something, and the other player wouldn't even know until they arrived.
Right.
The other army arrived at their natural.
So Worst is actually panicking a little bit right now because he noticed that Gorgo's expansion is fully functional. So Worst needs to really do a lot of damage with his army count as well as Reaver, or else he's just going to be significantly behind.
So now I feel like Gorgo should be the one just keeping his army close to his base for the Reavers, because if you head economically, the only way you can lose is if your probes all die. So he needs to like build up the big army and move out when he has the critical mass. But for now, he needs to defend against the drops, because that's how Worst is going to come back in this game.
Well, this is how this is the first time Gorgo's scouting, right? So Gorgo just noticed he has no expansion. Gorgo knows he has the significant lead, so he just needs to turtle up and defend against whatever all-in or whatever attack that's actually going to be coming in. And he does scout the tail end of this army, so he knows he's going to get attacked here. So Gorgo's Reaver really needs to come out right about now.
So he's moving his Dragoons out of his natural to engage early. Picks off one Dragoon, falls back.
It's a pretty good
It's
move.
highly
He needs to use
effective.
the pylon. He needs to use that pylon, forward pylon, for position, to defend using the choke.
So it's going to soak up some shots as well, right? If Worst
Well,
isn't
you can't just
microing
aim.
carefully.
I think Worst is going to run this Reaver right in the main. Good play.
So
Can catch him off guard.
Like you said with the T-shape horizontal line, if you can't just A move in with your horizontal
Yo,
line.
Reaver's in the main right now. It's trying to kill probes. He runs the probes
Ooh.
away. Dragoons are
Drops
on
it,
the
picks
shuttle.
it back up. Oh, he's retreating the wrong
Oh,
way.
he's gonna lose the shuttle. He's engaging at the
Drop
front.
the Reaver.
Engaging at the front. Reaver getting shots off on the goons. Big play. Big win there for
Two-pronged
Gorgo.
attack failed miserably.
So
by
that's such
Worst.
an awkward. Like, how do you retreat from there, right? Because if you fly up, you're flying straight towards his army. He can just shift his army over and kill it.
Yeah, the way you handle that is you have a zealot or goon in the shuttle, and you drop it, because it's up to, like, you know, when you drop the goon or zealot, it will be attacked by the other dragoons, and that's how you get out. He took a risk. It definitely did not pay off, and now he's down 13 supply as well as 7 workers. Plus the fact that green has had a natural for so long now. So Gorgo is definitely in good shape here.
Yeah, and Gorgo actually has 4 gateways manufacturing, while Worst has been on 2 gateways the entire time. So Gorgo's actually, his army count's going to skyrocket relatively soon because he could support 4 gateways effectively.
It's funny that Gorgo's robotics is in the front and his gateway's in the back, whereas usually it's the opposite. Because your robotic, you can just pick up your Reaver with the shuttle. You don't need it to be in the front, right?
You do. You want to walk it. You want to walk your Reaver to your natural.
That's true.
So actually, it should be much closer to the ramp if you know you're going to do a Reaver build.
So if I'm Worst right now, I know I just blew my Reaver, which was my ticket to an early advantage. Now I'm definitely feeling behind. What do? Do you bring out another shuttle with the Reaver?
Oh,
and you
this
try
shuttle's gonna go down too.
Ooh.
That was a big time play by Gorgo because he sent those goons out specifically to pick off that shuttle.
I think it's a mistake for him not to use the observer first to, go around the area and scout before using the shuttle. I mean, observer is just.
So Gorgo doesn't have any observers that saw that shuttle leave the base, right?
He
So,
had some indication.
At what point are we going to start talking about the possibility of, everyone's been there, right? That a lot of money on the line, you feel some pressure to maybe do something unethical.
No one's gonna.
What are you talking about?
I
So
know what you're
Gorgo
I'm not
is
talking about
actually-
anything. Let's just forget it. Let's move on.
Gorgo's playing this flawlessly so far. I'm not entirely sure if he should. He's actually going to harass with
Yep, he's
the
going to drop right on these
shuttle.
probes. Oh my
Dropping
goodness,
it
it's going to be...
Damage.
Oh!
Is it gonna hit? Is it gonna hit?
Oh, wow.
Oh, he brings the probes back in, bravely
Worst does-
sacrificing them.
Worst does not notice. He's going into the main. There's
Worst
a
builds
million
4
probes.
photon cannons at its
Oh,
natural,
he's gonna
but
kill the Reaver.
There's nowhere for these probes to run to.
Oh, but he hasn't killed
he's
that
got 4
many.
Dragoons pop out.
Oh man.
Will it be enough?
Is he gonna?
Reaver-
He's got 0
There's no
scarabs,
scarabs,
and he's not
no!
building any.
Reavers were targeting the unit.
Gorgo has mercy. He wants this series to continue.
Oh, he's gonna move right in here. He's funneling right to the choke. This is not a good attack. Worst has the
Actually
advantage
behind
here.
in supply for these 2 armies.
Yeah.
Retreat.
So I think there is a way to attack this position is to send half your army towards that choke and half.
Gorgo with the high 200 IQ play. Use the high
He
He
ground.
says it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. And then he walks down to the low ground.
Oh yeah, his army's gonna get trapped.
And now Worst has the high ground.
Now it's lagging. Bart's.
Bart's. Bart's tried it. He got slashed through the waist.
Worst is all tapping.
All right, so goons are moving in. The Reaver is here doing tons of damage. The
This is-
cannons are doing tons of damage.
Is this needlessly aggressive?
Yes, it is.
getting
Worst is
sandwiched.
getting a big play here. He's getting a big win.
But Gorgo doesn't care. He has the gateways to support this, and he has 3 bases, while Worst has only 2 bases
The
still.
Reaver is coming up to reinforce this Worst, so I think Worst needs to back up a little bit. Wait for
Yeah, it is not
He's
worth it
chasing
to
going
keep
in.
fighting.
Reavers.
This looks like AJ playing Dota 2. He's just chasing, and now he's out of position.
Where's H?
But his goons might actually work out because they're on the high ground. Oh, this Reaver could get a big shot.
I think Worst holds this. Look at this.
Yeah, red
Worst
holds.
holds.
Game.
Worst
Here's
holds.
a question, guys. Do Scarab miss on high ground?
Oh, Worst has not been mining gas for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He
moved
doesn't
from-
even have a second assimilator to build it as natural. He's really gas starved right now. And does he have zealot speed? No, he doesn't even have a citadel yet.
Nope.
Well, Worst is going to attack with this Reaver, and army count. Okay, never mind. That is a
observer.
rally point for that shuttle.
Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. No shuttle speed, though.
He doesn't have the army count to actually attack this, so he should not be aggro here. He should actually back off. Try to take a third safely, like his 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock position. He should build off of that.
So does it matter here? So you said like the 5 o'clock. So that's actually closer to Gorgo as opposed to I would think maybe. Do you want to take the main or the natural at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, just so that it's farther away?
But it's easier to defend for Worst at this point, because there's 2 high grounds, right?
Worst is going to
There's
move
the
right in
5
with his
high
army.
ground.
This is not a good attack.
Worst is going in with the Reaver. This is not.
He feels
safe.
desperate. He knows he's behind. He feels like he has to make something happen right now.
Which is odd
he's
because
gonna
he
drop.
just won a huge fight. He's going in for the drop to try to make a
Oh.
play.
There's no reaction from Gorgo.
No reaction because he's fighting with his own Reavers over here. He's going to engage on the army and drop the Reavers. Probes are dying left and right, but the Reavers are... Oh, his army's trapped.
12 probe kill.
He's just going to run right in.
He's got
Probe's
to
still
pick up
dying.
the Reaver and drop it at the 9 o'clock expansion.
Oh, he picks it up just in time.
Worst does not have vision of the 9 o'clock expansion as of right now. He does not know that base is up.
Oh, he's making a cheeky play. No, he drops it at the natural. There's nothing to shoot there. Pick it up and go to the main. What are you doing?
He wanted to kill the Reavers. He wanted to kill the Reaver. It's all right. Shuttle's
No,
still
he's got
alive.
50 probes in his main. He's got to drop the Reaver at the main and kill all the probes. There's only zealots. There's only zealots.
You
This is free.
You sound like Jerry Seinfeld right now.
There's only zealots.
This Reaver has free reign. Don't retreat. Nothing's attacking your shuttle. It's only zealots. Kill the probes.
It's all right. He made a big play. He caught up. He's ahead in workers now. He is ahead in workers.
More probes. Look at that. 39-37.
But he is almost mined out in his main. Now his natural's still pretty healthy, but
He needs to secure himself a third right now.
Yeah, he does.
This is dangerous.
Oh,
Green
Oh,
is going in.
dropping the natural.
Going into red's
Just
natural.
after he transfers probes.
Oh, this
What
is
a
good.
timing.
Oh, all the probes die.
You hate to see.
That's like
I hate to see
that's
it.
like 18 probes, I think. 18.
Yeah, he's down. I think he
was
went from
17, but yeah.
He's
I
not
think he went
mining
from
anymore.
40 to 22. Yeah, he's literally not mining right
He's
now.
literally 0 income.
So they both lost a lot of pro, but Gorgo has 3 Nexus and still more pro. So this game is gonna be really big uphill battle for Worse. And he's still not mining gas. It looks like. Oh, he is mining it now.
That's all he's mining is just gas.
Well, we just need a probe transfer, and then it'll be.
He
it'll
has
still
about
be anyone's
7
game.
These
Pros
probes at the
mining
main are
gas right now.
terrified.
They're on
They've heard
strike.
stories of what happened to the last probes that were mining at their natural.
They're
They don't
working
wanna
from
go
home,
there.
man. Coronavirus 2020.
Gorgo has a 50 supply count lead. His army count is looking mighty juicy right now. I
And
don't see Gorgo losing a fight, straight up.
I also
gonna
like
see.
this. He's ahead in supply and everything, but he's still taking a 4th. He's saying, okay, even if I lose the next fight, I'm going to secure the economic advantage as well.
He's
I think
going
that's the right
in.
mindset.
Worst understands he's behind. He needs to
So
hold this.
I like this point
the
that Peter's
Reavers.
making. I think that's the right mindset to take, especially as someone learning the game. Is
And we've got a fight.
Big
on the
fight,
hill.
big fight on the ramp. Oh, but there's just too many units for Gorgo here.
2 Reavers against 2 Reavers?
Worse
Can Worst
army.
make some magic happen with his Reaver and 2 he needs to make something big happen here. He's
I
retreating
don't-
though.
Even if these Reavers
Not
were,
Copperfield. He can't
even if these were
match it.
Warbringer Reavers, I don't think it would matter. That's the
This
hero
is the
Reaver,
last
right?
stand.
Is it Warbringer? Is that right?
Gilgamesh?
For what? What's
the
a
hero,
Warbringer?
the hero Reaver in
hero-
StarCraft.
Yes, it's called Warbringer.
Does it do any
Oh.
more than 100 damage? Or Scarabs still the
No.
same? Oh, okay. It's what garbage
it's
hero.
pretty useless. Yeah, it's pretty useless.
It's like
Oh, but it has
400
like
health instead of
300,
200.
HP and shields or something like that.
Well, even if these were Warbringers, he would still be at. Oh, running the shuttle right
Oh,
over the
the shuttle!
goons! His third's
It's
been
red.
stuffed out. This is
All the
bad
probes at his
position.
3rd are gonna get killed.
Worst is
I
trapped.
think
Take
Warbringer
Gilgamesh.
actually has the upgrade automatically.
He's
It
trying
looks
to
like,
push out here up the ramp, but it's just not gonna happen.
Last hurrah.
Ramp.
Oh, Worst
Oh.
picks up the Reaver just in time,
Oh.
but loses the shuttle.
It's the shuttle.
Gorgo's Dragoons are too sly.
Oh, he could get both these Reavers with his Reaver, and he does. He gets one, but it's all for naught.
taps
GG
out.
from worse.
GG.
Gorgo
Gorgo
wins
never
it.
loses on clay, baby.
Yep, Gorgo wins it 2-1. Vegas celebrates. That was a good first set.
That was a great first set. Gorgo really just went a completely new build order for that map specifically. He kept going 2 gate zealots first, and then he swapped it up, and it worked out really well for him.
Yeah, that PvP is such like a poker match. So for Gorgo to go that 1 gate Nexus on the last set was really smart because he just completely outplayed his opponent with just mind games. Like he was able to secure that fast expansion and just get a really good advantage at the start.
And
Yeah,
not
and
to,
a good takeaway. Oh,
I was going to say, not to neglect Worst. I mean, Worst also mixed it up. He did 2 gate the first 2 games, and then he brought out the 1 gate tech this game. And instead of doing a fast expand, he did fast Reaver. So it
And
seemed like he
there's-
was trying to engage in a similar sort of tactical fashion.
And there's small things Worst could have done actually to bring himself back into that game. For example, that fight where Worst actually took the high ground and won that fight against Gorgo. What he needed to do at that point was secure a 3rd. You just won a huge fight. You're probably about 15 to 20 supplies ahead at that time. It is a good point to secure a 3rd at that point. Add on some additional gateways and build off of that win. But it seemed like he wanted to be aggressive, and he kind of lost that fight being aggressive because he didn't gain anything out of it. He didn't gain a 3rd. So when you actually win something, you want to build on that advantage, and so he should have taken a 3rd at that point.
So Peter just mentioned Gorgo did exactly that. He won a fight and he expanded every single time, right? Like he won one fight, he attacked, but he expanded behind it. So he just kept building the advantage. The economic advantage is just huge. That's the really right mindset to have instead of just going for this, straight win, the quick win.
That's very true. We're going to jump right into our next match between, I might butcher these names, Jay Leo and Gomitas. It's going to be a PVT. We're going to start off on match point. Hope you guys are excited as I am.
Where the Zergs at today?
I don't know what the future matchups are, but I promise we'll have at least one Zerg.
There are no Zergs in CPL. That makes sense. It's the most challenging race to play, so people are afraid to try it.
Anyway, we're gonna see Jay Leo here, bottom left, green Terran. Why is everybody red and green? Does nobody use any other colors? Anyway, and then
Are those the first two? Like, aren't those the first two by default? So if you don't pick a different color, you get red and green?
You can actually.
I don't know. Is that true?
I don't know.
I think so.
And then in the top right, we have Gomitas,
Really quick.
Gomitas, US West, and he's actually sitting out a probe at 7 supply. He's probably gonna do some kind of gas
Ooh.
steal.
Ooh.
I'm excited to see. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a gas steal. Artosis, if he's watching right now, is furious at what he's seen.
Two-player map, yeah, really easy.
I want to
do.
see a proxy actually.
I think it's too late for a proxy, but we'll see. I think this middle is unbuildable. So if he's gonna proxy, it's gonna have to.
No,
be
that's
the third.
buildable, right?
I don't think
This
it
is great.
is.
Unbuildable.
I really like this. On this map, there's no. Like,
Yeah,
high
Pylon in the main, so he's going for the gas steal for sure.
Okay. I dig it.
I like it. Finally, some
Two-player
cheese
map, yeah. Two-player map. You know where your opponent is. Go for it.
Well, this isn't cheese. This is a fairly normal thing to do.
for you.
Yeah.
All right, so
So Gomitas is harassing. So what is Jay Leo's response to this? Losing that, does he go in early expansion? Does he try to take it out with additional SCVs? Like, what is his play here?
I think he has to go one barracks command center now. He's basically forced into that situation. That's generally the default response.
I think the other option is he could go the famed Deep 6 strategy,
you need an
which
academy
is
for that.
you do need an academy, which you can build without gas.
What can you do with the academy once you build it without gas?
Well,
you'll
by the
building
time the
Marines,
academy
the
finishes.
assimilator will be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. What is Deep 6 again?
Deep
Can
6
you
Six
remind me?
barracks next to each other.
You remember you need tanks for
3x2
that.
pattern.
You remember you need tanks for that, right? It's two
You do.
factories,
It's
6
it's
barracks.
Two
okay.
factories, 6 barracks. Yep, and you rely on Dion, the scouting peon, to gather you enough information early on.
I don't
to
know
ensure
how-
that-
Using
We do
four
see-
SCVs.
Yeah, he's going for that quick kill on the assimilator.
So he's gonna be behind now. Instead of, I think he should just expand, like one rack CC instead of doing this. Now he's doing his. Now he's gonna try to go make a factory, right? But he's gonna be behind in Protoss's tech because he doesn't even have gas.
That's not necessarily
we
true.
might-
Protoss doesn't have a core yet.
And we might see the expansion come up because, Terran can actually just defend with
Remember, he
a
needs,
bunker if needed.
He will need a factory and then an add-on to get the tanks out.
He just needs a bunker. The core is so late, range is going to be extremely
Ooh,
late.
scouting probe goes down.
Yep. He just needs a bunker at his natural, and he is perfectly fine for a long time.
And also,
Leo is going for the cyber core.
We've got a second zealot.
very
coming out.
standard.
This is interesting.
yeah, Gomitas going for the cybercore. One thing to consider with the gas steel assimilator play coming out of Gomitas is that is a temporary gain only. You invest 100 minerals and lost mining time. Terran kills it, but Terran's gonna still be able to mine those 100 minerals from his mineral patches over the long haul. So basically, you can just imagine that Protoss's mineral fields started. One of them started with 1,400 instead of 1,500 at the start. Which,
So
if the game goes
Gomitas-
long enough,
Gomitas will be able to harass
Oh, he has a bunker.
Terran.
Oh, yeah, why did he cancel? Ooh.
he didn't like the positioning of it.
But where is he? There's 2 zealots coming. I don't know if he's aware. I don't think he scouted him.
All right, so Protoss should be expanded.
Put that CV on the ramp.
Oh. the
Oh, he
zealots-
steps his zealots back.
Yeah,
Why?
he's taking so much damage. Good micro by Jay Leo.
Dancing.
Great night.
Very nice.
Minimize the damage.
Marines grew up listening to the Bee Gees. Man, can they dance?
Now the zealot needs to at least scout out what Terran is doing just to get some intel.
So he sees that it's factory expand instead of just straight up expand, which is
So-
normal because he saw him killing the gas, and he's gonna do his own expansion.
Yeah, which is great. That gives him intel that he can actually
Look at
just
this
expand.
starport at the top of the map.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Cheese after cheese, I like it.
No, and look who notices it immediately. He was watching that SCV with a close eye the whole time, hoping for something like this. So what is it? This is going to be wraiths?
It's gonna
No,
be
it's
a drop
dropship,
ship.
right?
Drop
It's
ship.
gonna be a drop ship.
It will not be raid.
If it's
It
wraiths,
won't be battle cruisers.
if it's wraiths or science vessels or Valkyries, I might
Speaking
just
of
call it a
tank,
night.
though,
He's
I mean,
rushing a
It's gonna
physics
be-
lab.
It's gonna be
hold
2
on.
science vessels irradiate.
But see, if it's a dropship, he wanted vultures, right? Why is he making tanks?
Well, you gotta
He
have
is
at least
getting
1 or 2
mines.
tanks to defend.
Yeah, he wants that
Yeah.
one tank to just be safe, but he needs to finish
Yeah.
that bunker, or he needs to start a new one and finish it. Because there's 3 goons out on the map, and they could literally just kill these SCV or these Marines off.
And he might be dropping 2 vultures and a tank, where he can mine off a little bit of the base and then try to siege into it.
Hey,
Try to take out some probes.
look at this. Gomitas is replying with DT drop. He's getting a Citadel and Robo. He's gonna go DT drop. That
This
is
is a
like
late.
it.
He's
DT
not going to
drop.
scout that starport.
no,
That
he's
would be
not.
absurd.
And
Okay.
if Jay Leo catches wind of this, a Wraith would shut that down. But anyway,
And
goons
look-
are moving in. They do have range, and it's lagging again.
Coming
It's
from the
actually me
top,
this time.
smart.
Wow, Jaleo made a lot of Marines. This is looking like one of those FD kind of build instead of like a normal one fact CC. But I guess he needed it because the gas was delayed, and he decided not to make a bunk.
Man, what a crazy game. The dropship is done,
How's he
basically.
gonna pick up his units though?
But
Like,
what is he? Yeah,
oh,
what
it's
is he
going
even?
around.
Is he gonna ferry in Marines?
He has a vulture.
Yeah.
He's one.
He canceled that bunker early on so that he would have enough minerals to build a bunker proxy inside Gomitas's base as part of this drop.
Oh, that would be incredible. I really would.
We have a Stargate coming up. It's not DTs. I think he's going for an Arbiter play
Yeah.
Is that
Um,
fast?
off 2 bases.
Man,
This is a quick Arbiter
Wow, that's-
off 2 bases, which is interesting.
that proxy science vessel would be really good right now.
This is the meta of the 3-game series, right? You want to show both of these players are thinking, okay, I don't want to play standard in the first game. I want to do something that's going to throw my opponent off balance a little bit, so that in the second and third games, regardless of how it goes, they're not going to know what to expect. They're going to be unsure the rest of the series. It's a psychological play
How
rather
many
than
mines
a.
do vultures still have? It looks like they don't have any left. Even if he drops them.
Oh, these goons are gonna walk right over the. Oh, picks off 1 mine. That's good.
I mean, what, vultures start with like 6 or 7 mines, 8 mines.
It looks like 4
feels like it
vultures
sometimes.
dropped into the
Oh, there's
main.
not
They're
a lot
going
of
to
Dragoon
do.
at home.
They're
And
going to
run
do a
into the
ton
mine
of
coming
damage.
back.
I think this is.
Here we go.
Oh, the mine!
Oh,
Oh,
picks
he
off.
kills that one?
Oh, loses a
Aw.
goon. And he only has 3 goons at his natural. I guess he has a
Does
goon in
not
the main.
have a lot to defend here. He's going to lose quite a number of probes.
But the way
over
that
here.
this building setup, it's gonna block off the vultures. Not really. Kind of will.
Kind of.
He's not
But
mining
he's,
the gate.
he's
If
just
he had
picking
put
off
the-
probes like crazy.
So at this point, if he had put the Stargate in to the right of the Cybernetics core instead of over below the Templar Archives, that would have essentially blocked off the vultures, right? They would have not have been able to attack very much.
2 DTs were actually made, so they're Terran has full vision of these DTs now, so he can actually defend against it while harassing.
Wow. I got 14 kills on the 2 vultures remaining, not to mention all the kills from the one that died.
yeah,
Engineering Bay is just being made now, so these DTs, if they actually go, can actually do some damage. But I don't think I don't think Gomitas is aware of that.
and during
he's-
that he lost 2 goons in the middle of the map as well. So that was kind of a overall loss for Gomitas there.
He's scratching his
he's making
head.
auto
Where did that
waves.
dropship come from?
Can that? Oh, it's dropping. He's dropping. If he mines correctly, he should be able to hold long enough for the turrets to come up. But it depends on where he places his mine.
The turrets are going to be coming up right now. These DTs will be coming in midway.
Should get there in time. It's
It
only
should
building
still-
1 turret so far.
DTs should still be able to take on a lot of these straggling supply depots and actually do quite a number of damage, or quite a bit of damage.
Is there a rule of thumb for Terran players putting spider mines inside their own base? Like, I know you don't want to put them right next to your SCVs because then you're just going to lose SCVs to the mines. How far away do you have to put them?
Just put them in there.
Is grass on here? We need a Terran player.
Oh!
That was a good mine.
And
Man,
Will
spider
they
mines
save
are
the
really fair.
depot? I think he's gonna say no.
He needs,
He's not.
he needs
No.
to drop a mule. Oh, rip.
Boom.
Oh, and now he's supply blocked. 74 out of 68. I believe
Hope he
that's
learns his
the
lesson.
first time tonight that we've seen a player supply blocked.
Well,
Like, and,
PvP, it's hard to really supply block people.
Gomatas is going Arbiter, so it's going to be difficult for Terran actually to push out. He needs a science vessel just to be able to push out. So Gomatas, even being behind, will be able to catch up because of a lack of vision.
I'm not sure
What-
why he's doing it. I think he's respecting Terran a little too much. Because Terran doesn't have a big army. We'll have to go in for those drops, right? Like, he's not gonna punish you for being.
What is actually the Arbiter going to be used for this early on? I mean, I assume it's not a recall play because he doesn't have enough units for a recall to be effective. So is it just
It
the
is-
threat of stasis, or
It is not the threat of stasis, but rather the threat of Terran not being able to really push into Protoss without a lack of vision, right? And Protoss will be able to expand 3-4 expansions off of that Arbiter with a significantly smaller size army count.
12 o'clock? We got another
Yep.
dropship. Four
More vultures coming in.
We have
no
armies
cannons.
in the main, though.
Oh, but they're leaving right when he moves the vultures in. They're gonna get free access to all these probes.
If he mines inside the mineral line and those
he's-
zealots come in,
And he runs his probes, but is it too little too late? We got 8, 10, 11 kills on these 4 vultures, not to mention the spider mines.
15 worker lead.
The Arbiter's out. He could conceal the probes with the Arbiter, so that's good.
That's a good move. He does it. He thinks about it.
And no respect. He just flies those vultures straight through the entire base to the natural. Starts killing more
Yeah,
probes.
more probes going down, man. This breaks my
wall-
heart. This has happened to me so many times.
This wall is actually helping Terran player because you have like a lot of Dragoons is outside of this wall.
Gomatas is taking a third.
Never underestimate a Protoss ability to come back.
Leo
Protoss can
has
always come back.
a sizable number of tanks. He can actually take his third, and as soon as he gets vision off the science vessel that's being made up 12 o'clock, he can probably start pushing in to Protoss.
It's gonna come down to how good the stasis are from that Arbiter.
Jay Leo needs to
doesn't
expand.
matter.
He's going up to 9 factories on 2 bases. That's a little too
That's,
crazy.
That's you can't support 9 factories.
Yeah, he needs
I
to
think
make sure he's
highest
getting more
is
money, more income.
Highest is 6, and that's like you don't have money to expand. If you make 5, you can expand, and 5 fact off 2 bases like a really aggressive go-to.
And as we speak, the science vessel pops out. We have a science
Wow.
vessel.
Where? I don't see the starport. Oh yeah, right. It's at the top of the map.
Think I wasn't keeping an eye on that. You were sorely mistaken.
You think maybe Gomatas should start sending observers around and check to see, you know.
Absolutely,
what's going on?
Gomatas should be essentially surrounding the Terran player Jay Leo, just to have vision of what's happening around
Like
the
at
map.
least one in
Uh,
front of the Terran base, right? At least
Well,
one.
currently, Gomatas doesn't even have vision of how many bases does Jay Leo even have. Having that intel is extremely important for Protoss because it allows you to figure out where your point of attack is going to be. Are you going to do a recall play? Are you going to attack the expansion? Are you going to go up front?
Just a little, and he would discover the starport. Please discover the starport.
Jay Leo's play is kind of scaring me here. He needs to be focusing on getting his 3rd and 4th up. He's got the advantage, but he's just spending all of his money on units and factories, and he should ideally be able to win a fight pretty easily. But why not secure more of an advantage by expanding?
It's kind of like the opposite of Gorgo from last game, right? Where Gorgo
Yeah.
got an advantage, he expanded to ensure that even if the next fight doesn't go perfectly, he's got one base advantage to fall back
Well,
on.
according to Peter, Gorgo is the goat of Clay, so
Yeah, if this were
can't-
Clay,
that's
I'd be
little-
betting
you
on
know,
Gorgo.
You can't expect this from everybody, right?
Oh, well, this is not a Clay map.
Who's the king of space?
King of Space? Michael Jordan, baby!
It's true.
Did you ever see that documentary, Space Jam?
Jam. Well, I don't even know the song.
Subtitle, The Last Dance.
Come on and slam.
Alright, so Jay Leo's moving out a little bit. He's gonna pick off, well, he's gonna easily push back these like 4 dragoons and 3 zealots.
Does
Does he?
Jaleo have EMP? It's gonna come down to an EMP versus the stasis.
He's only got one Goliath for anti-air. So the Arbiters basically have free reign. They can
Oh, but he's
basically do
funneling in
whatever
this
they
choke.
want.
Stasises?
Oh, sorry.
Stasis the vessel, that's good. But scans, he does have scans available, and now he's sieging, losing an arbiter.
He's the 3 vultures instead of all these tanks. I think Jalio's strategy of all ending here is gonna work. He's just gonna push in and win now.
Jay Leo can slowly push in now and actually
He's actually
use this advantage to his lead because his army count is sizable. Protoss' supply count is pretty close, but it's mainly due to the probe count.
Oh,
rather
he
than
can't
an
attack up
army.
that ramp.
No, he
That's
can't.
suicide.
Well, normally Protoss has a bigger supply than Terran, right? Protoss normally at this point should have like 5 or 6 bases. 3 on 16 minutes is like, you should not be even with Terran.
What do you think of the choice? Jay Leo's going straight across the map, so he's on the low ground here. He's going to be pushing up a ramp, as opposed to swinging down to the bottom part of the map and taking the mineral-only third from Gomitas from the high ground.
Well, I actually
his
like this
army cost
because
is high. I think he wins way here.
yeah, you block off the choke, right? So now he can actually any reinforcements is going to get caught up with the within this siege field, basically.
Is there any threat of Gomitas being able to run around and flank?
No.
You know, run half his army down through his mineral only, then over to the left, up, and then flank from the back?
I don't see it. In this unit composition, Gomitas' best play would have been having about like 2 to 3 shuttles filled with zealots. Just because Jay Leo went heavily tank composition, so having more zealots
Ooh,
that are actually dropped would have
Well,
been more
no
effective.
GG?
Wow. No, well, they don't. I think there's a bug in this replay system where if the player leaves immediately after GG, it doesn't get captured by the chat. So
I
it's
want
not
some
necessarily-
drama. No GG was called.
I mean, we saw GGs in the last series.
True, I saw G in the last series.
I forgot about that.
But like, okay, so to that point, he could go around. But if I'm Terran, I see him going around. I'm just gonna move up the high ground, and then all of a sudden, I have the high ground, and I have control of the rally point of Protoss. So now they have to fight it for their own high ground, fight uphill again.
So just to recap, some of the things that Protoss could have done to better mitigate a lot of that, to come back essentially and fight that. One is have better vision of the Terran player. Understand when Terran is pushing out, because it allows your unit composition, your groupings to actually be further in the map. You know, creating a stopping point and actually engaging earlier against Terran rather than engaging at the point where Terran was already on the high ground and you were pushing into him from low ground. So having better effective vision control and understanding what Terran was doing, and also having a couple shuttles within the mix of your unit counts, because it would allow you to actually prevent him from heavily going like a siege composition, because it's going to mitigate a lot of that damage through splash control.
Supposedly pretty normal for Protoss to just send an observer straight into the Terran main after getting the first one, right? To check how many factories being made. Because Terran could be doing 2 factory expanding to the 3rd, or like all in like this guy Jay Leo 9 factory. You would have to know what you're dealing with. And then it's pretty normal for Protoss to also position an observer right outside the natural of Terrans to see when a push is coming out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that's actually present in almost all StarCraft games. If you notice that your unit composition is actually less supply count than your enemies, then having your army pushed up into their army count and engaging at that point just essentially allows you to slowly catch up while not really engaging with them, but rather just like having them have a choke point because they have to siege unsiege, right? So
Oh,
you're delaying them.
if you can catch a Terran unsieging at that exact moment and attack, oh, that's a huge win idea.
We're gonna jump right into game 2 on Talcross. This is a map where if Jay Leo wants to go Starport again, it would be a great time to do it. This map is great for siege tanks on cliffs. In the top left, I'll say in 9 o'clock, we got Gomitas US West. I'm gonna assume that's what the USW means, is the red Protoss. And at the 5 o'clock, we have our green Terran, Jay Leo, who is in the REV team. I'm assuming that's a team.
It could be if Gomitas is from a German-speaking country. USV stands for und so weiter, which is like and so forth.
Okay, that
So-
might be it.
Could be if this is a European team.
Yeah, I don't remember what team he's on. Or she, could be a girl.
Could be. Why are we using all this gendered language in the year 2020?
I don't know.
He or she, alright?
In my casting profile on the Team Liquid Esports Central Hub, I got my preferred pronouns.
All right, I'll be sure to check them out.
Yeah,
What's Team Liquid?
Team Liquid. Team Liquid was founded in 1999 by Derek Osborne Wendt, a Dutch StarCraft esports enthusiast. Just check it out, teamliquid.net.
That's great.
They actually announced Team Liquid Star League 5, but it's for StarCraft 2, so that's really sad.
StarCraft 2? They
Yeah.
made a sequel?
People watching. I'm
Unfortunately.
surprised about that. I thought people all like.
They still have leagues for StarCraft 2?
I think this is the only one. It's
Yeah.
like a in memory of the game. They're trying to bring it back.
You know what
Well,
really
it is
bummed
the
me out?
10-year anniversary this year.
So, Gomitas is going for a cyber scout. It's gonna be a delay scout. This tells me that he's probably gonna like try to expand faster instead of going for some early aggression.
Actually, I think
Really
that means he
interesting.
might be going
Last time
10-15
he
gauge.
sent out like hold on 7.
Oh, he built the core and then canceled it. He lost like 30 minerals from
Alright,
that.
so now he's gonna go right. He should be scouting.
No, he'll probably go gate on 15 and then scout after that. That's pretty standard for this build. Or maybe he just turned on a map hack and doesn't want to scout. I don't know.
Some people feel more comfortable if their minerals are an odd number rather than an even number, so they'll cancel a building early on just to get to that odd number. It's like you take a minor economic loss, it's true, but if the psychological advantage outweighs it, you just have to make the opportunity cost calculation.
I want to note that Jay Leo took off 2 SCVs off his gas after building his factory, which indicates he's probably going to go for a siege expand or just a fake double, just get a tank and a vulture and some marines and push out. Meanwhile, Gomitas still hasn't scouted yet, very surprising. He's getting gun range, he's getting dragoons, so everything's been standard. He actually has pulled 2 probes off as well, so he's going to be going for a fast expansion as well. I don't know if these two players know each other. Maybe they know that they both expand fast, so they're just kind of playing off that.
Or they're
Could.
playing off of Talcross meta, which prefers earlier expansion rather than late.
I mean, this is a great map for 10-15 gate, though, so I kind of disagree with that.
And it's pretty normal these days, right? Like you get three dragoon and then you expand. That's basically universal in PvT for most modern maps.
You should never assume your opponent's going to play a
But he
certain
should
way,
scout.
though.
No,
I mean,
but
if
he
Green
should
2-facted,
scout.
he would be dead.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, he's going Starport!
Jay Leo's going Starport,
second
so
gateway.
he is going the same play.
Where
as
is it? I'm
last-
looking all the way at the north of the map. I don't see any starports. Where's he building it?
It's inside.
Right at the south.
It's inside Gomitas.
Oh, inside of his base. Gomitas
gonna-
will never see this one
He's
coming.
going to flood it in.
I mean, if you're Gomitas, you check the tape before game 2, right? Like, you quickly go through the replay to see what your opponent did, right? So he's going to be expecting
I don't think
proxy
so. I think they don't play
starports. He'll never expect one inside the main.
So, Omatar still has scouted his opponent. This is concerning that he's has so much faith that he's not going to get cheesed.
Faith?
So Gomitas
Is that
is
faith or
gonna-
is that quote faith?
Quote
So-
faith, as in, I would say, negligent.
I mean,
If
a
I
certain
was-
subset of players never scout for certain reasons. But what were you saying, AJ?
I was gonna say if Gomitas had scouted and saw 6 Marines already, I would be terrified of like a all-in factory timing attack with barracks,
This looks like an FD,
which is
but he's missing
happening
one
right
tank.
now.
He's missing one tank for an FD push.
No, FT's only one take.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is an FD of 6 Marines, right? Or
This
is
is this is an FD, but it's
So
kind of
this
not.
Dragoon
It's
is
not
a
expanding
starport.
behind it.
Starport.
Is he
And
gonna lose
bury
that
all those
Dragoon?
units. This is gonna be great.
This is going to be pretty scary. So Gomitas really needs good micro over here, to be able to actually engage this.
Because the Protoss player here should be able to hold this with just a few, 4 or 5 Dragoons that are microed well. Should be able to hold it, right?
You can
Shuttle
pretty easy.
dropship was made and it's swinging on the bottom, so he's actually going to pick this up and probably ferry
Spider
it
mines
into...
in the center.
rush
Oh,
past him.
Gomitas very cleverly sidestepped.
Oh, eats 2
I
shots.
spoke too soon.
He's going to be shuttling this army most likely into Gomitas's base.
You know,
which is
Terran,
going
you see
to
this,
do-
Would you push in or would you go back and play it safe and expand?
If I was Terran, I would be shuttling all of my entire army into
That's what I was thinking,
Protos's base.
but it's also
And
like
Protoss isn't building any Dragoons right now. The gateways are vacant. They are not spinning at all.
Delio really.
Because he's supply blocked. Psi blocked, technically.
Oh, he sent the dropship back.
Yeah,
Just
that
to pick
was
up
not worth it.
Yeah, he wants one more voucher. That was not worth. But I still think this can deal a lot of damage. Gomitas is scared right now. He doesn't know this is coming.
So we got Gomitas with 4 pylons all right next to his Nexus. Don't you think one of these should be at the bottom of his base so he sees the vultures as soon as they come out?
Yeah, definitely. Probes dying left and right. Putting mines between the natural and the main. That's a good play.
Really
Oh.
taking advantage of no observers.
2
And
goons go
nice
down.
Dragoons.
Very
Nice
nice.
micro from J. Leo,
Yep.
maneuvering his vultures away from the exploding spider mine.
Killing more probes, securing himself a nice lead. Very well done by
They're not
Delio.
transferring the probe. I feel like you just keep the probes there and just let them die, and you can lose less probe this way because your Dragoon will clean them up faster. Yeah. I feel like
So
just keeping the
I
probe.
feel like Protoss is actually not in a bad spot,
No.
honestly.
He's got a
Yeah,
third
expansion.
building.
Yes, so he can actually produce probes quite a bit faster off 3 Nexuses, so I don't see him actually being that significantly behind just because Terran's expansion came extremely late because he prioritized adding in 3 factories, a 4th factory now.
So you're saying when you sacrifice your early economy to get a drop, an early drop like that, then it's expected you have to do that much damage.
More
otherwise you're
probes
way
dying in
behind,
the main right now. Killed 5 probes with 2
Probes
vultures.
dying.
1 more probe.
So
It's
lots
6.
of probes have died, but the worker count lead is 9 workers.
Well, because he's been on 1 base. That's pretty significant. J. Leo's definitely... I mean, look at his supply. He's at a 15 supply advantage. Terran is
So
very
J. Leo-
ahead right now.
Delio is positioning for another aggressive play with 4 factory. It might go up to like 6 or something.
And now he's just running by. He's not even dropping anymore. He's just going to run these
That's
vultures
no
in the
respect.
natural.
That's the no respect play. Just running the vultures straight through the gut.
Yeah, when the Protoss is spread so thin. Like, yeah, Gomitas has a third, but he's not getting much out of it. And he's setting himself up very nicely for the mid game. Needs to transfer probe or SCVs to his natural, but besides, oh, okay,
Oh, just
it's
up
over.
to
What? GG.
Good game.
I feel
Well
like
played.
premature leaving, maybe.
That
I mean,
was,
he was-
in my opinion, premature.
I think it was a bad position to be in, but it's not over. I mean,
It was still a game.
Yeah. If he can get his dirt base, the 3-base economy running, he could still catch up.
I personally
Alright,
think
those
he
two
GG'd.
series are going to be my contribution for tonight.
All right, thank you for dropping
Alright.
by.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We might have to call you on speakerphone if one of the players in this next match busts out some cheese that we're not familiar with.
This is actually going to be a Terran versus Zerg matchup.
Nice.
So
Here's
we will
one that you
see.
like.
We're going to jump right in. We have, let me pull up the names.
Oh, I would like to. Okay, go ahead.
We have Xeno versus Socialized. Gonna start it off on match point. Here we go.
So on this map, it's actually really hard for Zerg to secure a third base, because the one that's closer to you does not have a gas, and the one that's like on the corner has like is actually closer to your opponent. It'll be interesting to see how Zerg plays this, but I hate this map.
So Peter, as the resident Zerg expert,
Oh shit!
how would
Shots fired.
what? As the resident Zerg expert, how would you play this map? Trying to secure a third, especially in a ZVT, which is very gas heavy, a gas heavy matchup.
Well, usually you're going to take your third while you're harassing with Mutalisks. So you're going to want to play, whether it's a 12 hatch or a 12 pool, overpool, whatever. Generally, you get Mutalisks as your first units, you harass with them, and then while the Terran is occupied with your Mutalisks, you're teching to lurkers and taking a third. If you're asking how I personally would do it, I would not bother taking a third. I would all in.
And speaking of all-ins, this isn't an all-in, but Socialized here is opening with a 9 pool. I think that's very interesting.
Ooh. I'm going to have to go ahead and sort of disagree with a 9 pool on this map. The two mains are so far away from each other. It takes so long to get your units over there. It's
He's going 9 pool gas even, so he's gonna get that speed leans very quickly.
Yeah, well, you're not going to 9 pool without gas, because 6 slow Zerglings are just going to they'll get shredded by 2 Marines and
You say slow
and SCVs.
You say Zergling speed, but what if he's going 1 base Mutalist? Did you think of that?
Zeno is actually going for gas.
I didn't, because it's terrible.
Hold on. Zeno is going for a gas play, so he's going for some kind of factory. He might just die to Zerglings with these quick techs.
You know, I watched a game between Idra and July Zerg recently. It was played a long time ago, obviously. July Zerg went 1 hatch lurker, just 1 base build, and beat him. And Idra called him a very bad word that I'm not going to repeat here, and then left the game. So I think 1 base plays have a part in this game.
So it's really going to depend on Terran's ability to block this off properly and to scout it out. So he is going to scout out the Zerglings and then the base, most likely, unless he loses this SCV.
No, this is
right by.
Actually, this game's actually over.
Line. Well, he should be making a bunker at his mineral line right now.
No, he can hold the choke. He doesn't need it at the mineral line.
The bunker's been started.
He should put 4 SCVs blocking the path to the right of the barracks, and then put his 2 Marines that he'll have above the SCVs, and Zerglings can't get in.
So he has a bunker.
He's making this way harder than it needs to be. And the Zerglings are going to run around this bunker and attack the gas and the SCVs on top. Yeah, this is a blunder from Terran, this defense.
When I commented that he should make it in the mineral line, I mean like right underneath his command center, a bunker right there, so it could defend the refinery as well.
I think he just wants to survive till his vulture, and he might just lose a vulture immediately after.
Oh, the Zerglings are on top of the bunker.
The Zergling is just going in.
That's
they're going to take it out. He's going to kill the Marines easily. This game's over. He is making a vulture, but man, he's going to lose so many SCVs here.
I don't understand. Like, Terran had his barracks in the perfect spot to reduce the size of that choke point to just about 2 SCVs wide. All he has to do is clog up that opening with 4 SCVs, put him on a hold position with Marines behind. Zerg can't do anything. Literally can't do anything.
So Terran may have panicked a bit and overreacted with the bunker in his mineral line. But it's difficult, right?
It's definitely
Yeah.
harder on this map than.
You have to think on the fly.
I will
It's a
definitely
difficult
say that
position.
9 pool speed on this map is certainly unexpected.
Yes, I
Well,
would agree
it's
with
actually a lot harder to hold this compared to like a ramp map like Fighting Spirit, where like the Zerg can't see the Marines and you can hold just hold 2 SCV there without even a building blocking it on your ramp, and
Yeah.
Zerg can't get up.
That's why you need to bring like 4 or 5 SCVs to ensure
Yeah.
that the block is good.
So I don't think 9 pool is necessarily that bad. Yeah, it's also a 2-player map, so you know where you're going.
I don't know. I mean, the issue I have with a 9 pool speed rush on that map is that Terran can usually hold it without having to do anything out of the ordinary. Like you lose some mining time on 4 or 5 SCVs for a while, which puts you back a little bit. But other than that, you basically can just do your 1 Rax expand like you normally would. There's the amount on the low end of economic damage that you do, it's really not enough to justify the lost mining time from
Alright,
doing a
so
9 pool.
This game, I think 9 pool would be. You can just make 1 supply depot and block off that choke completely.
He's 5 pulling.
Uh,
He's 5 pulling. He hasn't built a drone.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at his
Well-
larva just waiting to see. If
And
he
also,
did it.
this also the path or the distance between the mains is a lot shorter on this map compared to Match Point, and it's a 3-player map.
The
Which
difficult part
both
with
of which
this-
make a 5 pool or a 9 pool much more effective.
Right, and the difficult part with this is you're kind of gambling, right? If he's at the 2 o'clock or the 6 o'clock position,
Mhm.
because that Overlord is not going to get there in time to be able to see. So those Zerglings are most likely going to head to the 6 o'clock position, while the
He's not
Overlord
plugging it.
heads to the 2 o'clock.
He's not using the supply to plug it, but normally you wouldn't do that anyway, unless you at least like smell a 5 pool coming. So, I think he's in trouble.
If
Which-
anything, Zergling, the Zerg Celsius should have scouted with a drone as well,
Okay, so
along
this
with
five-
it if he was going to do this.
Yeah, you
Normally
know,
make 1 drone who goes down. He did not do that.
one thing
So
about
that's,
one thing about tournaments and leagues is that series play is a lot different than ladder. So if I was our Terran player here, Zeno Akup, being cheesed the first game, I would be much more willing to scout and like play more conservatively. So when someone was saying, he should build his buildings expecting an early pool, you should definitely play that way the second game after being 9 pool gas the first. You have to adapt.
And plus, scout with your 9th SCV, right? I mean, why not?
yeah.
You
So-
take a little bit of a economic hit, but
he doesn't even have like a semi-sim city. Like, his supply and his.
Zerglings are heading to the 6 o'clock position, like we mentioned, and so this might actually get negated by a bunker in Terran's base if Terran
He's not
actually
gonna see it
scouts it out.
coming,
which
though.
This SCV is
He
going to see
will.
his lanes.
Well,
He's
gonna
SCV, he's
cast-
gonna see it right here.
yeah.
So
Let's
he
see
can
if
make
his
a
bunker placement is. So he sees it now.
Yep.
Let's look for the bunker.
He's
No
building
bunker?
supply.
No bunker.
Wait, where's he building it?
He need,
No
Oh,
bunker?
that's smart.
building it with a
Oh,
choke.
yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
Builds the
blocks it with a depot.
Nice, good play.
it's over.
All right.
So yeah. So like I said, you can just build supply there, and then you can negate the Zerglings completely on this map.
I think that's a bit of a
Good call.
overreaction with the supply depot as well. Just because he saw Zerglings heading to the 6 o'clock, but it's still good play. I mean, because Zergling
Well,
or the Zerg is completely all in.
The play that he should have made is built the depot, but don't let it finish. Keep it
Yes.
at max
Well, you can
HP
repair
so you
it.
can get the money back. Yeah, but he should.
Well, you don't need to repair it. Yeah, because he could just defend off this, and Zerg
I-
is in
I feel like the bunker is
unwinnable.
overreacting, but if your opponent's going 5 pool,
No, I
it's better just be safe.
yeah. I think none of this is overreaction. It's a 5 pool. If you hold this, you win.
Yeah, you win.
Zerg
Yes,
has no
but-
recovery.
Yes, but the supply depot does not need to be completed, right? Because you can cancel it, and
Well, you
it
wanna
still
be able to
has
repair.
quite a number of health. Well, you would be able to defend it anyways.
But I would say just finish it so you're able to repair, and just proceed normally. I mean, you're trying to save what, 50 minerals, by being able to cancel it.
You're
Whereas
gonna need the supply. Oh yeah, you have to destroy it later. But
I would rather.
Supply pooling, he's literally
I don't-
all in.
the amount of security you get from being able to repair it from this all-in attack, I think is worth 50 minerals. But I'm not a Terran player, and I would never
You just
buy
gotta
Pool.
min-max. You just want to min-max, right? You don't want to destroy it later, and then lose out on the money as well.
Wait, why doesn't he just burrow the supply depot? Oh wait, wrong game.
Can we ban this guy?
So interesting play by Xeno here. He gets that Academy, and then instead of starting Stim, he immediately gets a Fire Bat. I guess he's really afraid of that bust. Because I would think you'd want to conserve the gas to get Stim.
Well, he's probably well, he has the SCV actually in Zerg's main, so he can scout out what Zerg's doing at any time. He's probably worried that Zerg is just mass producing Zerglings, right? Because it might be an all-in his eyes.
He definitely should check for gas.
Yes.
He'll see the extractor finishing just now, and then he'll realize he's got nothing to worry. I mean, the Zerglings don't even have speed. Terran should be able to have a timing attack in about 1 or 2 minutes, I guess, when Stim is done, and he's got a few medics that it'll be really tough for the Zerg to defend. He's got to put like 2 or 3 Sunkens at his natural, but if he does that, he's not going to have any drones, and he's just going to lose on economy.
Yeah, and the big thing Terran has to do there is also keep like a couple Fire Bats and a medic or so at home, just so he doesn't die to a counter. Because that would be my fear watching this game, is that he somehow dies to the Link counterattack. So we will see if that plays out.
Oh, he strategically puts his Fire Bat right in the middle of the 2 SCVs so that splash damage from the Fire Bat doesn't damage his own SCVs.
If anything, he should actually just remake the supply depot and then move out with his army. So that he doesn't get like all in, going around with the army.
You could also potentially put your factory there, like a few to the right. I don't know how much that would help.
Terran should just
don't
march
play
into
Terran.
the base instead of chasing. This is an easy win for him. Those Sunkens don't actually protect anything. He can just walk.
Yeah,
down south.
he could kill him straight on too. He's got 4 medics. The general rule is you want 1 medic per sunken colony, so he's good there. Link counterattack is coming in, but he's got 3 Marines. He's got a bunch of Marines. He's completely safe. And a Fire Bat. Good play there.
The Sunkens don't really block anything.
No, they don't.
Now, I would say he can, like, this attack is fine, and he should win.
Oh,
I feel like a really calm play from the Terran would be just take your expansion, get some siege tanks, and end it in 3-4 more minutes, because you're already so far ahead.
Well, it's over right now.
Yeah, it's over anyway. Unless the Zergling flank from behind, getting the surround on Marines, but
Too many
not nearly
medics.
enough. Yep.
And now he's just going to run right into main.
Yep.
This is
He
Doom.
He upgraded Lair at his natural so that when this push came, it would have 550 more hit points. To
Oh,
withstand
look at the
attack.
drones getting melted by the Fire Bats.
Oh,
And now we are at 1-1 going into the game 3 on Clayfields. I don't know if you guys saw, but he actually floated it. Oh man, he had some anger to take out, man. He just stayed in the game for a while, frying that Zerg base. You know, I don't know if you saw, but he actually floated in a barracks from the bottom. I don't know what the plan was. I guess to just make Fire Bats.
So now we're gonna see if Socialized can play StarCraft in addition to playing cheese, right? Because I don't think he goes for a third rush like this.
I think he
is
does.
4 different positions though. It's difficult to really go the same cheeses, right?
But if you're the Terran player here,
Clayfields.
you're definitely gonna be expecting cheese for sure, right?
Yes, so
'Cause
you should be scouting after the supply depot.
scouting and building your buildings, tightly together or whatever, so that you can defend it. I think I don't know if lightning will be able to strike 3 times.
Sorry, I've been kind of ignoring chat a bit. That was not the first game of cast. This is our 3rd set, actually. We've casted Gorgonoth versus Worse, which was a really good PvP series I'd recommend watching. And then we casted J. Leo versus Gomitas, which was a PvT. And now we are at Xeno versus Socialized. It's a 1-1 score going into the 3rd match on Clayfields.
7 drones, so already 5 pools out the window. Will we see another 9 pool though? So far, Socialized started with 9 pool Speedling Rush and was successful in game 1. Tried a 5 pool Slowling Rush in game 2 and was unsuccessful. He's not building. Okay, he's building Overlord at 8 rather than 9.
So far, it seems pretty.
It's kind of old style, isn't it?
Oh, he's gonna wall it as natural.
Oh, interesting.
Hey, Tempest, is that what is that? Building your Overlord at 8 instead of 9?
Interesting. So, I go.
I feel like that's. Oh,
Wasn't the role as somebody else is supposed to join in and speak for them?
yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Someone
it's
said it was
pretty-
interesting.
It's pretty standard.
I remember that being a fad in like 2000, 2001. People thought it was a little bit faster, and then someone did the math, and building it on 9 is actually faster. He's scouting with 2 drones. This has to be cheese, right? Oh no, he's going to build a hatch with 1 and scout with the other.
So we do see a 12 hatch
Pretty
from
standard.
Socialized. I definitely was not expecting that. Well, I guess a 13 hatch, but okay. So he hits the hatchery down. Is this? This can't be Ling Tai, can it? I guess maybe it is.
No.
Okay.
There's a gap between the.
Could we
the
get a
DX and the-
caster?
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
even.
It's not drone
Could
type.
You could fit an Ultralisk through that.
I mean, I don't know. I just...
Can we stop having a caster be texting in through chat?
I'll turn
Yeah,
on D&D. Anyway, the wall is up. Well, I'm not going to call it a wall. The buildings in front of the natural are
He's
up.
got a micro
Gets the
drone. He
drone.
loses his scouting
Aw.
drone. That is a shame.
But you can see
Wow, early bunker.
You
But
can see
this-
Cell's mind games the past 2 games
Yep.
is really getting to Zeno. He made a bunker ASAP because he's probably terrified of cheese at this point.
Yeah.
But Cella is playing it smart. He's just going standard.
And he's got 3 SCVs sitting there. So this is this is the psychology of a match, as we were talking about earlier. A match versus a single game, like on a ladder. Zeno Akup is terrified of cheese, so he's got 3 SCVs standing by, and so Cell-sided should have a pretty decent economic advantage.
If you
This blocks
see
his
the
command
bunker-
center. It blocks his command
Yes.
center.
It blocks it.
What?
So-
Just do the CC slide, baby. Right next to the minerals.
Shouldn't
just
he
like
be
in
using the
105.
Marines to kill it?
Absolutely.
Wait, is one repairing? Okay, no, they're both attacking.
Yeah, the one that built it is like, this is my life's work. What are you doing? You should let
Alright.
it burn down now for
Cell's
maximal effect.
psychology and mind games really got to Zeno to
Yeah,
the
Big
point
time effect.
where he blocked his own expansion.
So looking at Socialized's base, we do see the Laris started, Linkspeak started. Pretty standard play here. It's going 2 hatch.
2 hatch layer. I don't like the super early creep colony. That's not really necessary, especially because you saw with the drone that he was doing a 1 racks, no expand. So you don't need to build that creep colony. But I guess he doesn't want to build any Zerglings now. So
Oh,
1
he's
sunken will
gonna
be enough to hold it.
he's gonna pick off that Overlord. That's great with those 4 Marines. I don't know why he has 3 SCVs and is he? What is this? Is this replay broken? Why is he?
So rude.
I'm not trying to be rude at it. You don't normally do that. I don't know.
You don't know the timing? 3 SCV timing?
I guess that
I mean-
sunken was a good play. I mean, it stopped that attack.
Well, he wanted to attack with the 4 Marines, but they got preoccupied by the Overlord, right? So the
Yeah.
SCVs.
I mean, because
went
he
on
actually
ahead.
he would have busted it for sure with 5 Marines and 3 SCVs. He definitely bust that 1 sunken. And
Do you
the
guys
game-
see the
game might
map?
be
Do
over.
you see where the Terran's expanding? You see the little bones on the floor? That
Yep.
actually is the outline of where your
Yeah.
expansion should go. So he blocked. He
I've
blocked
seen
it
that
off
ups.
by not even paying attention to that.
Yeah.
So it's-
Wait, can we get Zeno to lift his command center so that all the viewers can see that if they didn't see it the first time?
All right, so the Spire's
No, we
halfway.
can't. Okay.
The Spire's halfway done. He did make a bunch of speedlings, kind of as a reaction. That might have been a little bit of an overreaction.
So he's on 2 hatches, he's not building a 3rd, and now he's just cranking out Mutalisks. So this is a pretty low economy play. I wouldn't call this an all-in, but he's got to do some pretty serious damage with the Mutalisks, or Terran's going to be pretty comfortably ahead in terms of supply and economy.
Yeah, and you see this a lot. You see Zergs getting these Mutalisks to go to harass, and then he'll most likely be taking that 5 o'clock base, because it is so easy to defend that with Sunkens on the upper ground, especially against Terran. So I see Zerg in a pretty comfortable spot, but Terran is really going all out and making a ton of turrets in defense of this.
There's a lot of missile turrets. He's had some bad experiences with Mutalisks in the past, and he doesn't want to repeat them. Socialized, pretty decent Ling reaction time. He only loses 1 Zergling. That's not too bad. That shows he's got a pretty good multitasking feel right now.
So Cell is actually upgrading Mutalisk +1 attack. Is that standard?
Well,
No.
when you're on 2-hatch, and you know you're going to be on Mutatech for a while, I don't think it's a terrible idea.
It kind of is, just because the +1 attack, I mean, it kind of helps because you can kill a Marine in 4 shots instead of 5. So that does sort of help, but I would definitely think you get Carapace over attack.
Okay, so Zeno is pushing out. Zerg needs to come and harass this ball over here.
Each
A
Marine
little
does
bit
6
just to
damage,
whittle it down.
right? Each Marine does 6
Yes.
damage. So if you get 1 armor,
Mutas are on top of the
you do 5
Marines,
damage.
getting
That's
it's
around.
being swarmed by the
Zerglings around.
Zerglings. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Very well done by
Terran
Socialized.
moved out too early. There's
Socialized has a 14 supply lead. That's huge. He's just going to try to barge right in here.
He can just walk in. Yeah, this and there's no bunker because he destroyed it earlier.
That's
Picks
true.
off the SCV, building the bunker.
He needs to just get those Marines with the Mutas, and he's pretty good. Pretty good to go.
Yes,
Zerg is looking in a good shape.
he should.
Should be camping directly on top of the barracks.
Yes, exactly. He should have his Mutalisks over the barracks right now, killing every unit that comes out. And this is why Terran players often will build 1 or 2 missile turrets next to their barracks, in addition to the ones near their mineral lines.
Literally, yes. If you break the Terrans first, Marines camping in barracks.
Oh, all those Marines desperately trying to take shelter inside the bunker, and they're picked off 1 by 1.
Man, he lost so many SCVs. Still 8 Mutas alive. Okay, down to 7. That could have gone... Like, Cell could have won the game there, for sure, if he had handled it a little bit better, but, you know, he still did a significant amount of damage. He's got 4 more Mutas on the way. He's gonna have 11 Mutas here. It's insane.
He should his 3rd should be finishing right now, but instead he's sending down a drone to start building it right now, which is fine. He's still in a good position. But
His
usually you want to
upgrade-
expand at the start of your attack.
His +1 upgrade just finished right now, so he's going to be doing quite a bit more damage here.
He's got to repair that supply depot. 10 health. Oh, and he loses it.
But he
So
traded a
+1
Muta
attack
for it.
is actually the only difference it makes is that it 2 shots a turret with 11 Mutas instead of 3 shot. But even without the +1, if you do 2 shot, it's gonna burn down to death.
Xeno's got a significant amount of units here, though. Like, I think he's safe now.
If he survives to science vessels, he can easily just win the game.
But he is supply block for now, and that's a problem. Okay, just got on supply block. Muta's diving on the barracks. Man, there's a lot of Marines here, and a medic.
Trades 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's
Jackson,
not good
your
trade.
audio.
Yeah,
your
you're
audio
way
is
too
quite
low.
low.
I can't hear you. He did actually end up taking 7 o'clock instead of 5. You guys, what do you think that is?
In this matchup, it's pretty common for Zerg to take an unorthodox 3rd sometimes, so that they'll remain hidden for longer. I don't really agree with it in this case because he's got the advantage, so it should be pretty... Like, usually you do that if it's even or if you're losing to try to be sneaky. But he doesn't need to be sneaky. He just needs to play standard and exert the advantage he's gained from his earlier attack.
Yeah, you know, I don't necessarily agree with his choice of...
He also should have a Hydralisk Den. Like,
yeah,
he
that's
should have
what I
lurkers
wanted to
coming
say.
right
He's
now.
going like full on mutiling. He needs to be getting lurkers. Like, he has an advantage. He needs to just play straight up and secure it. That's kind of been a
Xeno's
recurring
actually
theme.
very
Oh,
good turret.
this is the same. Xeno's making the same mistake again. He should not leave his
double
natural
up.
right now. No reason to leave.
Cell's just
Okay.
gonna dive right on it with mutiling. There are so many Zerglings
should
here,
be
but
able to
there's-
hold this. He's
There's
holding
also a
this
lot of
pretty
turrets.
easily.
All the mutas get shredded. No mutas are left.
Yeah, That was way over aggressive, and that's why Carapace instead of attack. If you're gonna make Mutalisks be like a long-term part of your army, you need to go Carapace because now they're taking 7 damage instead of 6. That's so significant. It's
So
like
those-
it's as big a difference as ZVP, the Zerg Carapace versus Protoss attack, where 2 versus 3 shots on Zerglings. It's that big or bigger.
And this is why those Mutalisks should not be used. It was a bit over aggressive. Those Mutalisks would have got a lot more mileage just harassing the main rather than going full frontal. At least until the Lurkers come out, because the Lurkers will be able to contain Terran even more.
And now
It's not the
he's
strength of Mutalisks, right? Mutalisks don't fight directly with like brute force. They like pick off stray units and harass units. If you decide to go 2-hatch Muta, you should be going around and killing SCVs and stray Marines.
Xeno's gonna move out here. I don't know if he's gonna actually try to engage. Lurker tech is about 3/4 of the way done, and he does have a decent amount of. Well, he's got, yeah, a good amount of hydra at his natural. You know what's kind of funny? Xeno has scouted or he's scanned like every potential third except the one that Cell actually took. He does not know about that third base.
Yeah, I mean, if he took 5 o'clock, if he took his normal third, then he'd be able to defend it with 2 Lurkers until Science Vessels comes out.
Oh, I don't like this fort hatchery. He's building it like it's like ZVP against Zealots, and that's just gonna get picked off.
And also, his Lurkers are... It's going to be awkward for them to get out of the base.
That's very true.
Oh yeah.
Well, he will have to destroy one of the Sunkens. I think that's a good trade-off. It's fine.
What? But why?
The issue though
Just don't block
is
it.
that. Well, the main issue is that Zerg took the 6 o'clock expansion rather than the 5 o'clock, and now Terran's actually just going to walk up to it because he scanned it, and Zerg will lose this expansion, which is going to be huge for him. I'm not sure why Cell didn't just take the 5 o'clock expansion, which he could defend much easier.
He's going to go for a counterattack here. He's going to go all in with Lurkers at Xeno's natural. 7 o'clock is dead for sure. Terran's going to make short work of it, so he feels like he needs to get some kind of compensation here with an attack. And he's right. He does. Will he be able to do anything with this army? At home, Xeno's only got 1 siege tank and about 8 Marines and no medics. Oh, one medic, crucially.
If he can get on top of the barracks, that'd be a huge play, but I don't know.
He stops too soon. He burrows half his Lurkers outside of range of everything. Now he inches them in, but he had to go all the way in.
Yeah,
is
now
not
the
gonna
2
work.
tanks are out. 1 tank's gonna die, but that tank in the back is completely safe.
It's too slow.
Yeah.
With this kind of attack, you have to move all your units directly on top of the command center and burrow there. You're not going to be able to do a slow push with this few
Oh,
units.
this scare is like keeping it alive forever.
Well, it was mainly
Science
because
Vessel is out.
So
Zerg
now
was
Radiant's
not
just gonna
focused
clean up the rest of
fire.
it. There's nothing you can do as Zerg against this unless you have the fighter.
Yeah, so there was a couple.
Scourge.
There was a couple issues with that push. One is
Oh,
he
no, take
burrowed
that.
entirely too early. The second was he was not focus firing the bunker, while only like 2 of them was attacking the bunker. So it allowed Terran to do a lot more damage than he should have been allowed to. But Terran is still in a really good lead right now, taking out 7 o'clock with no damage basically from his main.
he
Zerg
lost, like,
doesn't have
5.
much to defend.
And a medic, but
And Terran's tech is way ahead as well.
Oh,
This is the
yeah.
stage of the game where Zerg needs to have
you need
Hive.
defilers. You need defilers to defend against, hold against like vessels and tanks.
You need at least 3 gas, you need Scourge, and then you got to have a Defiler coming out soon. Otherwise, there's no way to hold a push like this.
He's gonna move the vessel forward to get that
Irradiate.
radiate off. He does have 1/1
Just no
Marines,
respect.
so they're gonna live through 3 sunken or lurker shots, which is very convenient. And he's got these 3 tanks. Terran is just in such a strong position right now.
Zerg needs Scourge to pick off that Science Vessel, but these Lurkers filing in single file aren't going to be able to do
Great
it.
micro by Zeno to mitigate a lot
Really
of
well
that damage.
played. What a hold at his natural early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really well done.
Zeno was dead in the water at
Yeah.
one point, but he made a good comeback, made some strong holds, and he ends up winning the series 2-1.
2-1. Well played.
As he sits there.
Coming back,
As he
showing his
sits there.
resilience after being cheesed in the first game. He says, "I will not go quietly into this good night."
He was cheesed 2 games in a row.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I'm saying a lesser player might go, get a little tilted after the first game and play emotionally, but he kept his cool, or she, or they, or they.
I was tilted just.
I don't think he was cool for sure. I mean, you see the bunker and everything. He was kind of shaken, but he recovered from it. That's the.
He recovered very well
He
from that.
recovered.
I think he was kind of calling his Zerg opponent out. He was saying, "All right, you cheesed me twice. Now I'm gonna cripple myself because I don't think you can play a full game." And he was,
What do you?
That's a bold
we saw what
clip.
happened.
What do you guys
That's a
think?
bold clip.
Do you have another series in you, or are we done?
I'll do.
What's the matchup? If it's TVT, I don't know.
If there's a Zerg, I could do it. Otherwise,
the next
too
one on the
boring.
list is a TVT.
Okay,
We might be.
I think we're done for tonight.
I mean, I don't know if we necessarily have to do them in order. I see a TVT, a PvP, a TVP, another TVP, another TVP, and a TVZ.
I can do a TVP as well.
Or we can save our energy, or let someone else do it.
I think at this point, let's attack the next series another time with optimal freshness.
I agree. Any closing thoughts? Those were 3 fun series to watch. I think this was the second one a 2-0, but the other 2 went 3 games each. Is that right?
Yeah, Jay Leo in the second set, man, that guy, he looked pretty fresh.
He played really well.
I think he'd be tough to beat. Definitely got my pick for the star of the night.
I agree. I know his opponent. I feel like he should have stayed in the game a little longer in one of the games. But yeah, Jaleo pretty much tilted him out of the game with like the combined, just the domination in the first game, and then the second game sort of looking like it's going that way as well.
Yeah, like as a Protoss player myself, losing probes to vultures again and again and again is so frustrating. And I've always hated playing against players that use dropships a lot, so to see that at this level from Jay Leo was really impressive. Because if you can master the dropship as a Terran player, like okay, there's certain streamers that just sit back all day and they don't harass, and then they complain that Protoss is overpowered. If you can master harassment as a Terran player, you can be so good. And dropships are a very good way to do that.
Yeah, and it throws Protoss out of balance, right? The drops definitely throw Protoss out of rhythm, and it helps actually progress you further as a Terran player, because it not only allows you to take another expansion, but also to build up your army count. If you are behind, it is a good harassing point. If you can micromanage it properly, it definitely throws Protoss out of rhythm.
And Xeno, I'm actually very impressed with his, how he's not shaken after that first time he got cheese. Second and third game, he held second game he held the cheese pretty well. It's like a 5 pool, really aggressive, even more aggressive than the first game, and he knew he responded just right. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed, and he's one of the few who actually, players who actually play to expand his lead rather than just going greedy and try to just outright win the game. Like, he's played it slow and steady. Didn't get a little too beady besides that one time he moved out against the Mutas. Held against really aggressive players.
All right, and we're going to be signing off for the night. Those were very fun games. We were very honored and happy to do them. Thank you very much for watching. And we will
See you next time.
see you next time.
High tempera!